Welcome to California, CATL. It's your boy Chili Bo Pippin. Holla at us cool people, cool people at so cool, yeah. And where my ladies, come on and bounce with me, come on and bounce with me, come on and bounce. And all my fellas, what up fellas? Y'all just chill, You know I'm so fresh, know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool.
You gonna find out that you fuck with the
Light up your L. This beat is so swell like the homie Rod Dale. But no, this ain't no beatbox. We call it street rock. They say the homie Chill Will got the heat locked. Young Cali, come clap for daddy. So savvy with the patty, you can ask the family. Yeah, I'm young, rich, and dangerous. Interest rates fluctuate with my paper chase. Who the boss? I'm the boss, I'll be late today. I'ma drink,
You'll find the fuck out, boy.
Cause I'm cool in my polo, cool in the low, cool with the fofo, cool with the. You know I'm so fresh, you know I'm
fucking losers.
Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool.
It's pretty wet, bro.
You know I'm so cool.
It's pretty wet, bro.
Bouncing in my peanut butter beans, cooling through the cone zone, blowing in the wind.
It's pretty wet, bro.
Town, sitting on chromosomes, rocks like
You fucking losers.
cold stones. I'm so grimy.
You fucking losers.
The chicks call me Chill, got it tatted on my chest.
You're in a fucking cult.
I'm a serial through the mist, and I'm cool with the bullies. So who wanna trip? Yeah, it's Chill Weezy, hip hop squeegee. I make it look easy. A B C D, cause I'm cool in my polo, cool in the low.
Now in your fucking meeting the street,
You know I'm so fresh, know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin'
You're gonna
with the
find out
cops
that you
right
fucked
behind
with the
me. You know
wrong
I'm so
one, boy.
cool. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin' with the cops right behind me. You know I'm so cool.
Baby diaper.
You know I'm so cool.
It's pretty wet, bro.
Now get it rockin', and get it rockin'. Leave it to Mr. Peanut Butter.
It's pretty wet,
to get it
bro.
poppin'. Now get it rockin', now get it rockin'.
It's pretty wet,
Leave
bro.
it to Mr. Peanut Butter to get it poppin'. Fist of Patron, kiss you past my nose. Shake it fast, drop it slow. Get you snapping that neck. Yeah, I can make you famous. The king of the West, from CA to GA. So chillin', so fresh. The police right behind me. They wanna catch me slipping, but I ain't just chillin'. I'm too cool for prison. Yeah, and keep it rockin'. Yeah, and keep it poppin'. You know I'm so fresh. Know I'm so grimy. Always stay chillin'.
No. You fucking losers.
You know I'm so cool.
You fucking losers.
You know I'm so fresh. You know I'm
We're
so
not in your
grimy.
fucking meeting in the
Always
street.
stay chillin' with the
Propaganda
cops
cult.
right behind me. You know I'm so cool. You know I'm
Fucking
so
trash
cool.
eight.
Tomcat in the sack,
Oh, this is
and she likes being insulted in the bedroom.
What year is it?
The number 444 represents archangels who are ready to help you.
Adam Carolla launched a new cartoon
called Mr. Bircham, where they thought they could just make a Family Guy-style cartoon or South Park, but without thinking about it for more than a minute. This cartoon is so bad. Really, I would love to be here to say, like, people probably think, oh, this guy must hate the right wing because everything he hates is right. They're just doing it really badly. Like, there was a universe where you could have all went right wing, hated the libs, all that same shit, had all the same stuff about the policies and all this crap, but not been lying, grifter, talentless fools. But that's the way you're doing it. I mean, name me a right-wing guy who's not either lying, scamming, really bad, really unfunny, complaining, whining, crying, doing exactly what they hated the libs for. And on top of that, probably scamming you.
Dude, Dave Rubin's cartoon is...
Welcome to California.
What's up, you shit apes?
They're less edgy. They're way more censored than anything you'll find on TV. Go to South Park, go to Family Guy, go to what's another
Pretty
cartoon?
whack,
Rick
bro.
and Morty. They're all 100,000 times edgier and more free speech than what the Daily Wire and Adam Carolla and Dave Rubin, the right-wing
Wait, you gotta see
cartoonists,
this one.
are coming up. It's insane. If these things were good, we would be you would like them. But
Oh,
no,
the
they
controlled
just get canceled and
right-wing
go away 'cause they're
plantation people?
terrible. And now there's nobody saying no to them. There's no.
Are those the ones that
mainstream
were all
media's not
sitting at
taking
dinner
these
together?
things from them. They have every right to get $1 million. They have every right to get 1 billion views, but nobody watches these. None of you have seen Mr. Bircham, probably. None of you saw Dave Rubin's cartoon. None of you saw Lady Ballers. I did. I suffered through these programs, and this is coming from a guy who can watch 50 hours of Robin Tran getting dressed. I'm kidding. I'm telling you, it's just plain bad. It doesn't matter. Forget the policy. They're going to use the policy. Now they're going to, what also is criminal about these people is they will lie. Like anyone who hates them for, they have this shield of protection called, but I'm on the right wing. So they're just doing this because they're mad at the right. They hide behind this. Every artistic endeavor, every risk they take is protected by a shield of, well, those are just libs. Well, I ain't a lib. I've gunned down
Boom.
homosexuals for who they are in a song years ago, before I knew how big of a problem this would be. I didn't know people would really want to do that. But that was absurd. Look at this crazy. How crazy would it be? And now this is just what the hackiest guys do. So I know a thing or two about wanting to say these things, bro. And I say them every day. And nobody tries to stop me. Black people applaud me. Trans people weep at hearing that I've answered or hearted their message. I mean, so there is a way you could have everything you want. And you have everything you want. You got those psychos in what do they call those? Head judges that run the whole world, like the in
Supreme Court.
No, what's the show called where Loki.
Oh, yeah. How could I forget?
In Loki, the whole thing was there's these like 3 main guys that are supposed to like govern the whole universe, but it turned out to be a hoax.
Yeah.
But we actually have 6 guys that govern the whole universe, and they're all insane. You don't have to do all this stuff. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to make it all bad. And then you give it, it's like you'd have so many more people on your side. It's amazing how many people you have on your side already that are all okay with it just being a complete hoax, like those guys in that Loki. But when they found out about Loki with that not being real, even like the biggest supporter was fucking like, what? They pulled that shit?
To live in Loki world, man.
I'm telling you, that Loki stops making sense real quick. So don't sit there and try to even figure out. Just enjoy the color of the frame, because that's not going to make any sense. Dark matter starts making very little sense very quickly. These people have not figured out time jumping.
Universe stuff.
The universe. They have not figured this out. It's all a game to them. So Tyler Fisher is this newest guy.
Oh my god! But first, can we watch Dave Rubin's cartoon? It's really short.
Because I don't think I've even seen.
Okay, this one is
This
so
one. This is
good
new, right?
that it's so insane that it's back to being funny
Oh,
again.
this is great.
And
yes, of course. I've seen
it's like
this.
Tim Heidecker made a parody of right-wing cartoons. It's
So this is
amazing.
what they're doing. Remember, they're saying the mainstream won't let them. Well, here's the real story. Adam Carolla and they shop these to the mainstream guys first. Because that's what they want to be. They want to be part of it. They would work with these people who are so evil, believe it or not. Adam Carolla shopped his Mr. Bertram cartoon for 10 years. This is a 10-year-old tune. He shopped it around Hollywood. They said no for 10 years. Not because it's edgy, not because it's anti-woke, but because it was horrible. And they turned it down like they would turn down any horrible piece of crap that wouldn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't even work for the people who are creating it, don't even care about it. And it was written in 30 seconds. First draft, whatever came out of your mouth, if it sounded like a professional recording, it was going into the show. Dave Rubin's got another one. And they want to sit there and go, this is, the mainstream would never allow, they allow much, you got to start watching. They allow much more than this.
I would watch
So
a
this
full
is Dave
episode of
Rubin's
this.
cartoon. What is this
Hours
called?
long.
Nothing but norm?
The new norm.
The new norm. And this doesn't mean any lib can confide in you. You're fucking dead too. You're worse. You're worse dead. And it's a physical threat. So I don't want to hear like, oh, you know who liked you? Sam Cedar heard you like it. Sam. Scam Cedar. That's how I call him.
You're afraid to
You're out of
debate
there.
Sam Cedar.
Sam Cedar, we're not opening the door to you. Vic Berger is as far I go left. Because he don't care about any of this shit. Okay, he just hates some people very dearly. But this is the show. This is the tune. Now, this is better than Mr. Bertram, by the way.
Way
Way
better.
This, you could actually, if you get high, and I'm so glad we smoked the shmee.
This
The
is
doobie.
enjoyable as
Because
hell.
this is actually, I'll take back everything you said. This is actually amazingly funny. In the way Josh Denny's special
Rocky, turn your
was
light on.
amazingly funny, and you'll see that coming up. So this one, Mr. Bertram, you could get high. You're not going to laugh at all the bad stuff. It's this one, though. Whoa. I think. Let's see if it holds up, Jules, because
I know. I hope so. I only
watch
watched it
this. We were
once.
dying the other day, but we were high as fuck. But we were dying. And this is Dave Rubin, the gay guy, where he gets bullied every day about molesting his adopted kids. You know, him and his husband, they ran out and adopted kids. That to me is perverse. I don't know why. It just seems sick. Two guy kids. You need somebody watching out for everybody. That sounds perverse. But his whole audience every day, like, calls him Satan, and he needs to burn in hell for adopting.
Right
and being
before
a
this
gay.
came out, I was wondering.
And he's
what
molested.
happened
They're
to him.
accusing him of molesting the kids, and because that they're gay, they're gonna. And he sits there and weeps like this is hell for him. And Dave Rubin every day has to pander to his own torturers. This is what these gay guys do, who try to pretend that this is the side they're on. This is what they do. They go through pure fucking hell because they get tortured, and then they hide, and then they just go, I'm just gonna keep scamming these motherfuckers. And then they start hating you, so they're scamming you even harder. And then they're making this cartoon, which is a huge flop. They're signing deals at the ball drop or whatever they do when some new stock comes out. He's over at Big Stock. Oh, he's got stocks. That's crazy. I go as far to say this. If you even invest in a stock, that's crazy. That is not a political take. That is a crazy take. I can't believe people just go, you got to have all these random stocks that you don't know. That's like having ads on your YouTube video. You don't even know what they're going to be. That's not even crazy to somebody. See, to me, I'm saying it in the way that that's how crazy it actually is. I got to say it like that. That would be like having ads on a YouTube video. to most people, that's a totally normal thing. Stocks, YouTube ads. Like, hey, imagine if Red Bar went to break right now, and on your screen was just all these companies that I have nothing to do with, that I don't even know what they're doing. They could be doing the shadiest shit. They could be doing everything I claim I'm against, but I wouldn't even know. I don't even know. How could you do that? Isn't that the craziest thing we've ever allowed to happen? People don't even think about it. There's no problem to anybody. So Dave Rubin, he's suffering his own hell. He wrote this crazy cartoon. I hope it holds up as crazy as I remember. Let's take a look at David Rubin's cartoon. Not Again, Norm.
The new norm.
You're gonna love this. It's got a gag in it. It does have a gimmick, and you gotta like this gimmick or you're gonna hate it. The gimmick is a sitcom real human laugh track. And it's a little loud. Check it out. The cartoon. Mr. Bennett. It's all about a guy who's sick of the woke, by the way. Every cartoon they make. What's that? Look.
Progress.
So he's holding a rainbow can of beer. Okay, which
Hell yeah.
Why did you let that into your home? I don't got any fucking rainbow cans of beer. You want to hate the queers? Don't buy the rainbow can beer. And that comes with, you got to know what these companies do. You're using companies that are against your beliefs and you don't care, and you didn't care for years. And then Budweiser, who is against your beliefs as far as gays, every year they do a gay thing where they pander to gays. You allowed that to happen for 20 years. And then you finally got embarrassed enough. But you should have known that. You should have hated Budweiser since day one of doing that. But you helped Budweiser become that. You should have protested at day one. He's out there buying the rainbow beer. You're the one holding the queer flag in your hand. You know, I wouldn't allow that at my house. What did your teen daughter buy the beer? I don't think so. Your teen daughter isn't old enough to buy beer. She's living with you. She's 18 or under. Can't buy beer. So you bought the beer. You're the only adult here. And you bought the gay beer. And now you go, what the hell is this? I think you bought it because you were horny for guys. You forgot. And now you forgot that that's the can. Oh, shit, I was supposed to bury that can after the night I had.
Now you're live.
And now you're live. And now you're like, oh, wait, what the fuck? Why do I have? But that could be on TV. They would allow that. On South Park. They would allow that on Family Guy. 100%. I've seen it. He grabs the gay faggot here. What's that?
Progress. It's the new norm.
The new norm ain't the same as the old norm.
That could be Tyler that we're talking.
I'm the old norm. I want normal beer.
Aye, aye, aye.
He's got a ankle bracelet on, as if he's under house arrest. I don't know why. Because Tristan Tate, maybe something to do with the Tate brothers. He's like, let's throw in a house arrest thing. That reads. Okay, so he's on house arrest and the alarm starts going off as soon as he tries to go get the regular beer.
I'm the old norm. I want normal beer.
Warning, perimeter reached.
See, it's next.
Ugh. It's your fault I got house arrest.
You're the one who threatened the school board.
I gently suggested
Yelled.
they stop brainwashing my daughter that...
Now really try to pay attention. So we're high, right? You've all had 3 to 4 hits, at least. Everybody watching. Of a hybrid. At the same time as me. So sometimes when you're high, you totally forget that you're supposed to be watching something. And then at the end, you're going to go, oh, yes, I agree, because your friend was watching you or something. You can't do that here. You have to literally, I have to. I'm saying this to myself, too. I have to really pay attention to this and pretend I'm watching a real show. Give it all I got. And then I'm going to start dying laughing. I hope.
Okay.
Right? Don't you think so?
Focused.
Okay, let's focus and see if we start dying laughing. And this is not a scam or anything like that.
School board.
I gently suggested
Yelled.
they stop brainwashing my daughter that girls aren't girls and men aren't men.
Sometimes they're neither, or both, or furry and dressed like dogs.
Ow!
Not peed on the ankle.
Janice. What's that?
Warning,
Oh, shit.
offensive.
Actually, that
It's like a full-on 100% like complete homo. It's just, so they're really trying to show you we are sick of gays. Look at this. So all these alarms go off. Watch this. So it's very
What's that?
Warning, offensive.
actually that is one of my pronouns. Also they, them, and me.
You're non-binary?
How do you know that word?
I learned it in school.
That's why I'm.
That show's really bad. I've had enough of it.
Really bad.
Not Mike, but yeah, that show, like, it's so dated now. It's so funny because it was written and done 10 years ago and he couldn't sell it. And then finally Elon Musk bought it, like, and they like dusted it off and put it up, and it's like completely irrelevant. It's like Me Too era stuff. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like 10-year-old anti-woke tropes that like have not aged very gracefully. I mean, it's kind of still relevant, but it's like grasping at straws to try to put something like this out. Really sad.
Hey, is that corn on the cob guy in the comments? Is that the one I'm supposed to debate?
Maybe. Corn on the cob dude, the StreamYard link is right in the chat if you want to come up.
I can't get a hold of that guy on Instagram.
I wonder why.
Of course.
Fucking trash apes.
Yeah, Trash Apes. He's got like a business page.
With the wrong one, boy.
That's Devin when he gets mad.
Yeah, I think you've seen it. What was it? Was it Lubass that was on the show? And I let him have it.
Oh, he's been leaving me like 2-paragraph comments on every one of my shorts, and he went on that. Yeah, I guess you were telling me yesterday. He went on.
Yeah, he was on Paul. Yep.
Show. It's pretty funny. It's been years. Don't know why they'd want to be still talking about us.
Yeah, I don't know how that got drudged up.
Yeah, no, Lubass has like a bone to pick again for some reason. I think they see that I have a show now that's, working. So
It's pretty whack, bro.
Pretty whack, bro. He just roams around from stream to stream trying to find something to do.
I don't know. Allie got a bunch of views on her videos yesterday, so obviously
yeah, that was from that. Yeah.
Thanks, Lubass.
You're atypical shit ape.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to watch today. Starting with Lifting Vegan Logic, who's a beast.
Nice. Yep.
This was, I guess, this guy David Pacman is a big conservative YouTuber or something like that, and so Lifting Vegan Logic obviously is going to dismantle him here.
How do you justify eating meat, dairy, and eggs?
Who do I have to justify it to?
Well, when there's a victim involved, wouldn't you have to justify it to them?
Like, for example, when I have my cappuccino, could I go to a cow and say, tell the cow why I'm drinking their milk, for example?
Yeah, I mean, this is just another great video that goes over or at least just elicits how ridiculously stupid some people can get when it comes to veganism who are otherwise not that stupid. It's really fascinating how many examples we have of this.
Well, we complain about this often. And Mr. Logic here he's talking about like normies. So you can imagine what it's like for us to hear, our peers stoop down to like lib levels when it comes to arguments around veganism and morality. So he's obviously feeling the same way.
rights and
As we do.
freedoms.
Yeah. How's the sound, Dev?
Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about the political and progressive commentator David Pakman, who I'm sure many of you are aware of. And we're going to be talking about a call he had in which a follower of his who is a vegan pressed him and asked, how do you morally justify paying for animals to be exploited, bred into existence and ultimately killed for food production? I'm vaguely familiar with David. I don't watch a lot of his content, but I have seen him on YouTube, and I know a lot of people who are very big fans of him. I will say, though, that this call between David and his vegan supporter really did illustrate just how much he has not really thought about animal rights and even the environmental aspect of plant-based eating. Even a quick skim through his...
So this kind of reminded me of a situation we've been in that we were just in. These guys, when they open up their shows and they get questioned about veganism, they have nothing on hand. It's really funny. So to see the arguments they run to, or how much they just kind of and try and waste time while they're thinking of something smart, is pretty baffling. I mean, it's pretty funny and relevant, and
comments of his video will tell you just how bad of a job David did at covering this topic. Many of his fans were just like, this is not correct, David. Like, you really need to do more research on this topic. So let's go through the call and respond point by point.
Hey, David.
How are you?
My question is,
yes,
how do you justify eating meat, dairy, and eggs?
Who do I have to justify it to?
Well, when there's a victim involved, wouldn't you have to justify it to them?
I don't know. Is that if you perceive that there are...
If I can't communicate with the cow, that means I get to eat it.
Victims. Every victim gets... I don't even know what you're saying.
Well, yeah. So like if you or someone decides to eat meat, dairy, and eggs,
yeah,
and if animals are dying for...
Corn cob guy is not the guy you're supposed to debate, Devin.
Oh, okay.
Who's the guy you're supposed to debate?
I don't know. You said there was some anti-gun vegan guy I was supposed to debate. I thought it was Corn or something. I don't know.
Did you talk to him?
No, I think you posted his channel. I watched him. He does like video game streams or some shit.
Oh.
Is that the guy?
Anyway, Corn? Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, that's Bob the Corn King or whatever.
Corn King.
I just
yeah, that one.
YouTube got garbage content. He's trying to get famous by being an Uber rider. Making Uber videos all day. I'm like, all right.
Driving people around as an Uber driver?
No, just delivering for like Uber Eats on a bike, on an electric bike.
Oh.
Generating taxes for the war machine and subsidies for the meat and dairy industry.
Wait, is he a vegan and he's delivering stuff for Uber Eats?
Yes.
It's probably delivering animal products to people's doorstep.
Yeah, he's another one of these vegans like Brandon Indigo Labar. One of these. They're not vegans, they're plant-based, just like Mark Passio. They don't feel like they need to be activists as well. They think that changing their diet is good enough, and they don't choose to be into animal activism. Therefore, and they're probably wearing leather and they're probably wearing wool and stuff like that. So they get put down to the plant-based. It's almost fad dieting. They're a little bit above fad dieting, but I don't consider them vegan if they're not also anarchists. Well, yeah, anarchists, but also activists.
Yeah, we have the same issue. We talked to the activists locally, and we're just like, the local page is all just a bunch of foodies, and we're all just so over it. We're just like, wow, if these people has put as much effort into finding like the latest vegan donut shop, or this place added a vegan dish, like we might actually get somewhere here.
Damn straight.
Like if all those people actually came out to the fur protest that we went to.
Yeah, or I'll just, tried to at least once a week talk to one of their family members or friends, you know. I bet that rarely happens. Or at least productively, you know.
Yeah, even just like starting up just like a spur of the moment kind of conversation. Like it's really easy to, just if you hear somebody talking about like some health issues, it's not like being like pushy vegan, but just, asking some questions and maybe dropping some truths just to see if they're receptive. Like sometimes that can go a really long way.
Guess what, Bracky? It's what your mission is.
What's that?
Your new mission in life is to get Mary and those two, Mary and Marty vegan. They don't want to talk to us about it because,
oh man,
but they you.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a just kind of shortly touch on that. I had a little bit of a heated conversation, but I kept my cool, and it was civil, but it was a fun little like back and forth, and like I was being asked some questions that I didn't fully know how to answer. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one, but let me make this point. So it was pretty cool.
You'll get farther than you'll probably get farther than us.
Yeah, being too close to home, that sort of thing. Like it's the same with my family. Like I struggle. I mean, I have good conversations now and then. I don't want to be like, throw anybody under the bus, but yeah, it's tough when you're dealing with your own personal family situation.
Yeah.
So I can see that.
We'll get back to the video.
Marty might warm up.
That decision,
yeah,
that's being made over and over again. Do you feel like you could justify making that decision to that victim who has to?
So what we're seeing here is a classic name the trait situation, I believe. He's trying to say because because they're not on our level that we're allowed to eat them. And well, yeah, already what he said, But yeah, so just to, if you don't know what name the trait is, it's a debate tactic. It's a vegan debate tactic. You basically ask the person you're debating to name what it is about animals that they think allows them to eat them, and they usually will answer with something about just not being on the same mental intellect level as us, or not being able to communicate or something like that. And then you compare that to, okay, so are we allowed to eat people that have mental health problems since they aren't on the same level as us? And it kind of, then they usually won't have much to say after that.
Sound like a Nazi, bro.
Yeah, they'll usually change the subject, which is a big carnist tactic when confronted with vegans. But anyway,
suffer and die for it.
Like, for example, when I have my cappuccino, could I go to a cow and say, tell the cow why I'm drinking their milk, for example?
All right, so we're off to a very cringy start. When David is asked to justify putting in demand the breeding, exploitation, and murder of animals for food, his response is, who do I have to justify to? Could I go tell a cow why I'm drinking their milk, for example? He's acting as if it's absurd to be asked to justify an act which harms a sentient being who themselves are not maybe intelligent enough to have a concept of morality. I wonder what David would think if somebody was caught physically abusing a dog, and when they were asked to justify doing such a thing, the abuser says, well, who do I need to justify this to? Do you expect me to talk to a dog? I mean, how far does this reasoning go? What if somebody just decides to abuse their baby who they can't really talk to yet because the baby's 5 days old? Or a mentally handicapped human who can't understand right from wrong or moral concepts? Do we just get to do these things, and then when somebody asks us to like justify ourselves, we just go, who am I supposed to justify myself to? Like, how am I going to talk to this sentient being who can't, be on our level of intellect? Like, why would we ever operate like this? This is a great example of veganism making otherwise pretty intelligent people say really dumb things. Let's keep going.
So the problem I have with this entire framing is that it's so absolutist and narrow, and it's not really like the way the world actually works. So for example, sometimes you follow these things to their logical conclusion. Like, I've read a lot about this, and hopefully you'll indulge me for a moment. If we say, okay, eliminate all animal products whatsoever, great. So that now puts an incredible strain on a handful of crops, which now need to be grown in dramatically larger quantities in order to replace all of those animal products.
Oh God. This
Yeah,
guy
so this
became an
is the whole
agriculture expert all of a sudden.
Garland farm. Yeah, this is the Garland farms will have to grow more soy to feed all the vegans argument.
Or just not feed it to animals.
Yeah. We hear this argument a lot from these guys on the One Great Wort Network, that like monocropping is really bad, and with veganism you'll have lots of monocropping because they have this idea that we'll only eat soy patties the whole time or something like that. But like they don't understand that protein comes in other vegetables too, in high doses, and so these dudes think that we'll have to like we're monocropping for corn and soy for cattle feed for the most part. They eat 20% of our food supply. The monocrops are corn and soy and things like that are mainly for animal agriculture. If we didn't have the demand for soy and corn for agriculture, that all the croplands for soy and corn would be converted to obviously veganically converted to other crops, just anything. Like we could eat anything in the world. We don't have to
asparagus.
Just eat soy. We're only going to eat soy thing is a complete fallacy of an argument. If we got rid of animal agriculture, the entire, who knows what will happen, everything will change completely and settle in a much better place. We already grow now enough food to feed everybody in the world and then some, but we're feeding that to cows and animals in animal agriculture. And what people don't get is that 20% or whatever, whether it's 14 or 20, I think it's 14 or 16, that's a lot of food. And these cows, so let's say a whole cow is, I know this isn't going to be the right number, but 2 million calories, right? Let's say this cow is 2 million calories. To grow that cow, you had to feed that cow 15 million calories. So we're losing calories. You losing food we could be feeding people, losing food we could be lowering our price of food with. And we're I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
It's a net negative. We're not.
Yeah,
we're getting back less than we're putting in.
Yeah, these cows.
We're feeding them more food than we're getting back. We're feeding them more water than we're getting back. We're not. Well, they're not getting any water back.
No, we're getting.
Because it turns into urine, and then they just dump it into the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. Secretions,
shit and urine.
Pee, sweat, methane, all kinds of toxic shit. So you guys can keep this tradition, this evil death cult going. It just really doesn't make much sense. That this argument is we'll have to monocrop more when the main driver of monocropping is for cattle feed. Pop your camera up a little bit, Devin. Your head is chopped off. There you go. So yeah, we'll see what other clownery this guy has to say.
This creates absolutely massive monoculture farms, which are absolutely terrible for the environment. Many of these monocultures require absolutely bonkers amounts of water in order to.
Oh, you should see how much water it takes to make beef, homeboy.
Generate equivalent amounts of, for example, protein.
All right, so before I unpack these environmental points, let it just be known that David still has not answered the caller's question. So we're gonna go ahead and address these environmental points, but
Which
let's
is
be
the
clear that
moral
he has
question,
not.
not the agriculture, land
remember
use.
what happened? What happened when Bracky went over there and asked them a simple question? They couldn't
They
answer it.
deflected.
They started throwing a temper tantrum and throwing out a bunch of fallacies, like just BS. Oh, hey, what's up? Damn, who's that? Just throwing out, fallacious arguments, stuff that's absolutely not true. Like not even like Rogan science, bro science stuff. Like even worse, and like they're just trying to figure out a better argument. Like this guy's just, you could see him thinking, and he's stumbling, and he's taking a long time, and he's making excuses. Just kind of trying to waste time to come up with something, and he's just all, monocropping.
Well,
and
he's
it's like,
avoided
bro,
the question entirely. We're talking about the victim. We're talking about an individual, and he starts talking about agriculture. It's like that wasn't the question. Stay on topic.
Yeah.
We didn't ask, oh, well, what about, the crops and all this? And that's what a lot of these people do. They start talking about the environment and agriculture and big corporations. I have a bone to pick with anarchists too that talk about, oh, you got to grow your own farm and this and that. And I'm like, what happened to believing in the market? Can the market not provide the meat that you already eat? That's subsidized by the government, by the way. Can the market not provide the rice and beans that we fucking buy? Do I have to grow my own rice and beans to make it legitimate? What is this bullshit? Are they what is that? The anarcho primitivism? Is that what crept in all of a sudden?
No, it's the individual thought, outward pointing, individualistic thought, going to go isolate and have a farm and do something that isn't doable on a bigger scale for everyone in the country, and just keep,
And they're not even doing it themselves.
Yeah. No. It's a whole bunch of BS. And then you're watching these guys' videos, and they got flat screens that are all neon in the background, and like it's like, what are you cherry picking the living shit out of your ancestors, behavior, and like, oh, I'm gonna live a completely modern lifestyle as a YouTuber, and like claim that it's cosplay again, like Allie's always saying, it's cosplay. Like they're cosplaying this shit, and it's like
anarchists.
Like, take the TV out of your back. If you're gonna be talking about all this paganism and all this stuff, at least like kind of try and like look like it. I mean, like it's all cosplay, but it's just like these dudes. It's just real goofy. And then you look at their numbers, but let's stay on track. That stuff's coming later.
Answered the question. Alrighty, so David thinks that if the entire world went vegan, the degree to which we engage in monocropping would increase immensely because of all the animal products having to be replaced with plant products which require monocropping. Now, let's just be clear, monocropping is not a necessary entailment of veganism or plant-based agriculture, but let's just assume that's the case just for the sake of argument, that there's no other way to grow plants and that we can only grow plants through monoculture. Now, perhaps David is just unaware of the fact that in order for animals to be grown to the point that we can exploit them and murder them for their flesh and excretions, we must feed them crops to begin with. And these crops are grown in monoculture. This means there is a possibility that monocropping is higher in our current world than it would be in a vegan world where monocropping was 100% necessary. Let's see if we can determine this with some calculations. So around 50% of our habitable land is being used for agriculture. 77% of this land is being used for animal agriculture. And this 77% includes grazing land for animals and arable land used for animal feed production. Animal feed comes from crop production, if that wasn't clear. And although 77% of the 50% of habitable land being used for agriculture is for animal agriculture is only supplying 18% of our calories, whereas plant agriculture for humans only takes up 23% of total agricultural land and supplies 83% of our calories. This detail is extremely important, and you'll understand why in a moment. Now back to the 77% figure. It isn't totally clear what percentage of the 77% of land use is dedicated specifically to crop production for animal feed. But according to the FAO, 33% of croplands are used for livestock feed production. So with this figure, let us assume that the remaining 67% of cropland is being used to grow crops directly for humans, and the remaining 33% is being used to grow crops for animals. Let's also steelman animal agriculture and pretend that the 33% of crops being grown to feed livestock is supplying the 18% of our global calories. This, of course, isn't true because the 18% figure cited earlier included calories gained from grazing animals, grass-fed cows, etc., and not just animals we consume who are fed crops that we manually grow. Just a heads up, there's going to be a lot of math coming up, so you're probably going to want to at some point pause the video and take a look at the math to make sense of what I'm saying. But for the time being, just listen to what I'm saying for what it is and look at the math a little later. So if current amounts of monocropping for plant foods from 67% of our cropland generates 83% of our world's calories, then in order to grow enough food to supply 100% of our world's calories, we would need to use around 20.5% more monocropping land than we currently do to make up for calories lost in eradicating animal agriculture. And that is 20.5% of 67%, which is around 13.72%, meaning we would need 80.72% of the cropland used today to supply global calories, which frees up to 19.28% of land that would not be used for monocropping. Again, the math for all of this is on the screen right now, so if you want, you can pause or just keep going and look back at it later. So it is very clear that in wanting to minimize the degree to which we engage in monocropping, David Pakman should want to live in a vegan world as opposed to the world we live in right now. Oh, and by the way, David Pakman did mention that these monocrops are terrible for the environment and use up so much water, so presumably David cares about the environment and also wants to minimize water use. This is also odd to hear considering what the best data available says concerning what would happen if we move to a vegan world. From this paper titled Reducing Food's Environmental Impacts Through Producers and Consumers, moving from current diets to a diet that excludes animal products has transformative potential in regard to the environment and water use. This move would help reduce food's land use by 3.1 billion hectares, which is a 76% reduction. This would include a 19% reduction in arable land, and our food's greenhouse gas emissions would be reduced by 6.6 billion metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions, which is a 49% reduction. Acidification can go down by 50%, eutrophication could go down by 49%, and scarcity-weighted freshwater withdrawals can go down by 19%. So if David Pakman really cares for the environment in the way that he is eliciting he does in this call with this vegan fan, then it's very clear that he should be opting for a plant-based food system or a vegan world.
The water use also leads to many, many animals dying, everything from mice to, all sorts of other things.
Mice
and so
die because
we
of water?
can do the entire thing that I gather is what you would consider to be morally right. And then we would still end up killing so many animals by virtue of how we restructure and reorganize what humans eat. Are we really better off by killing different animals through drought and monoculture, etc.? I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
So
what?
Source, bro?
Wow.
Yeah, you're like trying to say that animal agriculture isn't going to cause, or it doesn't cause more ecological damage that kills animals. I mean, we've looked at the numbers. We have the numbers, so that's ridiculous. But just even from, I couldn't listen much past that just because it was just like, oh, triggered. I cannot.
It's ridiculous. So he's trying to say that if we top-down change the way the industry is, that change will cause so much death that it will be worse than continuing how we do things now.
That was the Garland Farms argument.
Yeah.
Despite what all the resources we gave him, he said they were not valid for whatever reasons because of NWO, but Bill Gates.
The conspiracy theory cop out.
Yeah.
I've been doing a little research on the WEF, the World Economic Forum or whatever, or no, the WHO. Who's Klaus Schwab?
He's World Economic
World. Yeah.
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 The WEF, they absolutely are pro carnism, like in every way. They aren't promoting veganism. Maybe Klaus Schwab while on the beach in a G-string said something about veganism. They definitely don't. They for sure say that they consider meat to be more healthy than plant protein, or meat protein to be more healthy than plant protein. All kinds of stuff.
So does Bill Gates. Same thing with Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Same thing.
They
with
all
Bill
want
Gates.
Why?
innovation.
Because they're invested in the companies that profit off of it.
Well, and
they're not going to change the companies that like, let's say Bill Gates, that he's invested in or acquired. They've declared they have no intention of changing the farming practices or the amount of beef or meat or animal products that are produced on the farms that he's acquired. Doesn't sound vegan to me at all.
Yeah, they mainly just want to like provide innovation for, you know, to secure their bottom line. They want to just make sure that they're continuing to pump out products that are going to appeal to all people, but it's not really, it's just money driven at the end of the day. That's all they
And
want.
it shouldn't be a surprise because these aren't moral and principled people. So why would they advocate for something like that? It's like the common anarchist that comes at us has more in common with them than they do us.
It's really sad, but it's true.
I always say that. I'm like, you guys subscribe to the same religion. You're cut from the same cloth.
Just as NWO'd out as Klaus and the rest of the gang.
NWO'd out.
Yeah,
dude. When
speaking
I
of
these guys,
saw Hulk Hogan at the RNC.
Idiocracy.
The Idiocracy, yeah. But wasn't he part of an organization called the NWO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
During like the wrestling heydays, yeah. Yeah, the NWO.
He like dyed his hair black and they were all emo.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, what a coincidence.
Emo NWO wrestlers. Faking political theater.
Yeah.
Weird.
Come full
Where
circle.
have we seen that? Yeah. Pac-Man. Pac-Man's not having very good arguments. Jeez.
Weak.
So David mentions things like water use for monocropping leading to animals dying. We've already covered that less monocropping would occur in a vegan world than our current one. With this in mind, we understand that less monocropping in a vegan world would lead to less animal death from monocropping. And if David cares for reducing animal suffering and animal rights violations, then perhaps he would be interested in the fact that the vegan world would not entail breeding animals into existence in the first place to exploit and kill them for food. Which, by the way, because these animals are bred into existence, we know for a fact that on the net, this increases overall death.
But you did kind of not answer the question I asked, David.
The answer to my question is I don't know what I would tell a cow. I've never spoken to a cow, so I don't know. But what I'm telling you is it's the
There's
type
nothing I love more than a sarcastic vegan.
question that's really just a black hole. It doesn't really go anywhere in terms of answering the broader
He's all,
question.
okay, that didn't answer my question.
About how would we feed the planet on 5 monoculture crops that would have to be
5 crops
exploded, a million
So where is this 5 crops idea he's getting from? Because right now we have 5 crops. What is it? Oats.
Corn,
5
soy,
crops that are being
wheat.
subsidized. Corn, soy, oats, and there are a couple more. Potatoes, I think, and rice.
Wheat's not in there?
Wheat. Yeah, wheat. Did I say wheat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and a lot of corn goes
why is he
to fuel, too.
describing? Why is he giving the vegan world the carnist baggage? Like he's trying to say, like he's describing what's happening now as if we got rid of animal ag, these would be the problems, but these are the problems now. This dude, obviously, a lot of these guys, the problem with a lot of these guys is they've never been vegan to have all the arguments, so they don't know all the arguments, and none of them are good at having arguments against us. I don't know who's argued with. The group we have here, like we deal with a lot of arguing with carnists, and they
Heavyweight
all have the same
champions.
characteristics. It's pretty wild, but this is pretty. I mean, this is like this guy clipped this video and put it up, saying that he destroyed a vegan in this
Oh,
in this
God.
freaking argument he has. Like, it's just
in order to replace all the animal products. You're not answering that question to me, which is okay too.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is you're framing it as arbitrarily narrow, and
he's like, this dude's like, my inner, like, this is exactly how I would talk to this guy, you know, like, I can. And he's like, you can just tell the dude's like trying to put words in the guy's mouth. And it's like, no, come on.
sort of myopic.
So David mentions the whole, oh, what would I say to a cow thing, which we've already covered, and how absurd that is. And after being pushed on the initial question the caller had in the beginning of this phone call, David just says, your question doesn't go anywhere in terms of answering the broader question about how we would feed the planet. And he even suggested that monocropping would have to explode 1,000,000% in order to replace animal products. Well, as discussed earlier, even in a world where monocropping was the only way to produce plants, a vegan world would require, or entail, less amounts of cropland used for monocropping.
Well, I can respond to that counterpoint that you bring up.
Okay.
But I do want to say that, about the meat, dairy, and egg industry, like, it is like terribly, terribly cruel, the standard practices of meat, dairy, and eggs. So
yeah, I'm with you right there. I'm with you right there. The standard practices are horrible. What I do is,
but they're necessary to support you and everybody else to eat the stuff.
I try to know exactly what farm is it coming from, where I could drive and see
of
what
course,
are the conditions.
Yes, you drive to all the
I
farms.
think that, like, for example,
somehow
this guy gets
free stuff where I
the
know
5
somehow
animals
the fact
they
he
eat.
drives there. Yeah, the 5 animals he eats, he goes and visits, and somehow visiting a farm, he's able to understand that entire animal's life and everything it's been through, and he knows that those are good people, and they hug that cow every day. It's like such carnist bullshit. Like, it's such nonsensical nonsense at the end. That's how pathetic these arguments are. And you guys gotta, you guys look really silly to us. Like, it's really, really bad.
Well,
but this
goes to the point that the more we do this, the more we win, because they just expose themselves as fucking morons in front of the public. And I mean, these arguments just are going to continue to fall flat on their face, and the average person, as we educate them more, is going to see like how silly this is. And they wouldn't want to side with this guy. They're going to be like, yeah, this is common sense,
Figuring out better ways to respond to these arguments, because everyone's using the same ones over and over again, and so it just becomes clearer and clearer, like the whole crop deaths thing and the byproduct versus co-product, the whole soy issue. I mean, that took a while for the vegans to sort of flesh out, but then once we did, it was like, oh my gosh, like, and it's just it's giving us more ammunition, fuel for the fire.
Yeah, they don't understand by constantly by the carnists barraging us year after year. It's just sharpening our weapons and making us better at what we do. And now it's like we've gotten so good. These guys just sound like clowns, and they never engage. They don't engage anymore more than like 1 or 2 responses, because they don't like what they hear. Especially because they just assume everyone's a lib, like, and it kind of works in our favor, because we're like, oh, actually, I'm into the same shit you're into, and this is how you're a hypocrite. That's all we're doing up here, and we aren't even calling them hypocrites. We're just simply asking them questions that are questions that they have to like think about, and like in their life and in their spirituality or whatever practice they're into. They're going to have to, like, they don't like hearing this, because then it's in their head and they're like, that guy got me, because like he's right. And it doesn't matter what response we get from them initially, it gets in there. If it's good information, it gets in their head, and they'll, it'll mess with them. and like we have such better stuff than them. Like, oh my god! And like I started the channel, the Carnist Camp meme channel, so I've been collecting Carnist memes too, and like as well as our memes, and like our stuff's so much better. Like they're so
It
bad.
cuts to the bone.
Yeah, it's
they
rooted in
can
truth.
only appeal to ridicule. Like all these guys that show up on my page, and I'm all, can't you like engage in the argument and not just do ridicule nonstop? And they like can't because they don't have anything. They don't want.
And it's all
like
recycled.
everyone was doing Trump impersonations. It's like the same thing when like Carnists try to meme. It's like it's not funny. Like even just like objectively, like whatever, not looking at the meme as a vegan. It's just
Generally, like they don't have
and
a
it's
sense
cringe.
of humor that actually works.
It's in poor humor, guys. Come on.
Well, because they're sinking down to beast level. They're turning into children again and going, me bacon. Like how many? Like that's the most used meme I have is the bacon, the fat guy bacon. Oh,
I saw that when the guy on his deathbed, and they were like,
so many people
they-
do that, and I'm like, dude, you know we have tons of memes about you, right? Like this is like as stupid as we think. Like when we see this is how we see you. Like, and that stuff doesn't like that. Those are good memes. Like those are good memes. Like you can't
Hell
feel
yeah.
that if someone's down after you do that shit. It's like, wow. Oh, I'm gonna eat twice as much meat. All right, I'll eat twice as much, 3 times as much tofu then. Like. What are you talking about? Like the dumbest pea-brained arguments. And it's
The same stuff.
Wild.
It's the same stuff that's been coming out since like 2010 or probably even before that. Like it's just all.
Bro, I was
recycled
vegan in the
material.
90s. Everyone said the same shit back then, so you can imagine how sick of it I'm hearing.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Is the sound good, chat? Deemstar, is the sound good? Yeah, so it's really obnoxious. And yeah, like he's saying, it's been like this argument's been going on for millennia. As we're learning about like Bible times, there was a lot of vegans and vegetarians around back then, and it was definitely interwoven with the religious stuff. And then Allie just found this video by this dope doctor guy. What's his name, babe?
Rogers, MD. That's his name on YouTube as well.
Peter Rogers.
I think so. Yeah.
That guy's stuff is great. Just from that little bit that I saw, he's very on point.
Yeah. He made a video about something I had no idea about. Which made sense, and what's the guy's name? We did the video about him and Adam begging for money. Peaceful parenting guy turned into a Trumper. Damn it! You guys know Braxton. You know who I'm talking about.
Rodriguez.
I'm trying to remember.
No, Stefan Molyneux. One of the only Stefan Molyneux videos that ever really resonated with me was when he was talking about the war, and he was getting very emotional and mad, and he was talking about the priests and stuff during, when we went to war, completely being silent and not telling everyone war is bad. When we went off to war, and then Ali shows us this video by this dope vegan doctor. Who explained that if you're a nonprofit church in the USA, that you are not allowed to talk about politics with your followers. And that was very mind-blowing to me and made a lot of sense, because I remembered that Stefan Molyneux video where he was just like, like he was like mad and he was cussing, and I was like, whoa, Stefan's pissed. He's spitting fire right now. Babe.
That point made a lot of sense. So it's interesting. I'll be back on cam in just a second. Sorry about that.
So yeah, so let's finish this video.
Know exactly where it's coming. I'm doing certain things for myself, but I agree with you. The standard practices are terrible. You and I are on the same page.
So we're getting the classic, oh, factory farms are bad. I agree, but I get my meat from free range, pasture raised animals. I visit the farm. I see the conditions, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard it before. I would hope David would not consider it ethical to kill dogs for meat who have been raised in better conditions than factory farms. And of course, I also hope he wouldn't accept it as ethical to kill free humans who have had better lives than factory farmed animals. And if the response to that is, well, humans and animals are different, we're just going to have to ask you, what is the morally relevant difference between humans and animals such that it is ethical to kill one who has been raised in better conditions than a factory farm, but not the other? Just a basic consistency test. If he says something like, oh, low intelligence is what justifies it, then does he think that it's ethical to kill disabled people who show no greater degree of intelligence than cows on happy farms that are, having better conditions than factory farms? Like, of course he wouldn't think that's ethical. I mean, at least I hope not. Some people will say it's ethical to remain consistent, but something tells me that David would not be one of those people. We'll see. Maybe he'll respond to this video and we'll find out. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all that was worth responding to. The remainder of the video is the monocropping thing being repeated again. And yeah, I mean, this is just another great video that goes over, or at least just elicits, how ridiculously stupid some people can get when it comes to veganism who are otherwise not that stupid. It's really fascinating how many examples we have of this. But yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. If you enjoy my work, and
it's also shocking how few carnists hit us up, or at least hit me up and be like, I know what you're saying is right, and I know I'm doing the wrong thing. I just don't have the power to stop. Like, I never hear that from anyone ever. Like, it's really crazy. Like, unless it's someone who's really trying to do like the natural law thing, or like they're pushing that stuff really far. I never hear people be like, yeah, you're probably right, but like, I just don't know. Like, they're never, very, very rarely are telling the truth. When I'm ever approached by any carnist that's telling me anything, it's very rarely any truth that's coming out of their mouths. It's wild. And it's just they're not seeing the parallel. They're screaming from the rooftops about slavery, yet they're being government. They're being the powers that be to animals. They're doing the same thing. And the powers that be look at us as animals. So it's like, how do you not see that parallel? That, like, you're saying you're against slavery, yet you're enslaving when you're in power. You're in a little bit of power these days, enough to be able to eat animals and stuff quite easily. That's power. So you're in the position of power to be able to enslave animals. And so you are doing the same thing. Like, that shows that if you were in power, any more power, you would do the same thing to humans. And this is the mentality of war. This is why we're doing all this stuff. This is why we're in the cycle, this negative cycle we're in. And people just don't get it. You explain it clear as day to them, just like I just did, and they're just completely in denial about it.
Yeah, and to that point, like, there are so many people who have looked into like Jordan Peterson's work, and even like the sovereign communities, that the term chattel comes up. Chattel is pretty similar to cattle, and like, it's interesting because in this current status, I guess, if you take it to that place, like, being a U.S. citizen, we're looked at as chattel. Essentially, we're owned to an extent, and like, if people don't agree with that sort of mentality, then why would you basically do the same to beings that you see as lesser than you? That's where the name the trait thing sort of comes into play. It's interesting.
Yeah. So Joseph Smythe here says animals can't own property. Their life is their property. Yeah, they are their own property, and when you kill them, you are stealing their property. So I don't know where you got that. Just because an animal can't go, so because an animal can't go to a real estate agent and buy some property, some land somewhere, that you have the excuse to kill it and eat it. That's your argument. You're gonna come up here and that's gonna be the best thing you present to us. Come on, bro. Try harder, Joseph Smythe. Get a better argument than that. Animals can't own property. Please.
I've got a picture, like a quote that relates to that. I'm gonna look up real quick. I saved it. Oh, here it is. Okay,
So he's changed his. No, hold on, Braxton. So he's changed his argument now to that animals can't comprehend properly. Properly or property? What do you mean? They can comprehend their own life, and they can comprehend when someone's taking it from them. That's for sure. Like, they just can't use words.
Come on the show,
people,
bro.
people think that. Yeah, people think that an animal being of lower intellect means that they don't feel, but you have to look at it in the idea of this is like a cow is like a 4-year-old, or a pig is like a 4-year-old kid. You know, you got to look at it as in like age and intelligence, in that way. Not this, oh, they don't have a soul, or they don't experience life because they're a lower intelligence. That's a carnist cop-out across the board, completely. What is territory? I don't believe anyone actually owns land. Land owns you. When you buy land, it owns you. You don't own the land.
Is that a Jeopardy answer?
Yeah, I don't know.
What is territory? Animals can't own property. What is territory?
What is
There's your
territory? A place, a fictitious area with a fictitious border that some rich person claims to own. But really, in the real world, in natural law, you only own as much land as you could defend with your life. You only own as much land as you need. And you will only take as much land as you can, as you need in those circumstances. So I don't really believe in owning land. That's a statist idea. Once you think you own a piece of land, then you start thinking, I need a government to take care of me in my land. Thus, the cycle starts.
This guy, Joseph Smythe, or Smith, however he wants to pronounce it, is pretty ridiculous. How are you going to argue property rights with a cow or other animal? See what happens when you try to aggress upon them. Like when you try to back them into a corner, or like go to try to steal their life, steal their,
Yeah, they'll fight you. They'll try and kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, that is their property, and they're going to fight for it.
Yeah. Just like I will, and just like you would if you're a real man. It's funny that we just watched a video of some guy getting smoked for a half an hour using the same argument, and then he comes up here and has the same argument. So, no, you did change your argument. What do you mean? You don't have to argue the property rights with it. You just leave it alone. It's not your property. You should know that it's not your property. As a human that's smart, that has the ability to go out and not aggress on that animal, you don't have to argue with them about what they their sentience. Like I don't. You're trying to say that you need to have a discussion with an animal before you kill it. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah, like what you wouldn't do to your fellow man, you wouldn't do to an innocent animal that's just trying to live.
Now he's just word salading us. Okay, well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so. Anyway.
Not a good argument.
Nope.
I mean, extend that to yourself, golden rule.
So, Allie's got, Allie's video has got 412 views, her first video, a clip from the show.
First video in a while. That's really good.
Oh, where'd it go? Is there no sound?
Hey, I'm famous.
Yeah, look at that. I'm going to have to restart it. Where is it? I have so many. Tabs up. I can't find anything.
Saw that earlier.
Oh wait, I hear it. Can you hear it?
Kind of. Is the volume up loud enough?
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, it's coming through really faintly.
Pretty low.
Yeah, I can't. I
On
can't
my phone
find
because it was
it up
overheating.
here. What's that? Oh, is it hot back there?
My phone automatically shut my browser because it said it was too hot. So I got on my
Oh no.
Oh wow.
It's a struggle being out here. You get hot.
You guys
So
are
your
still
video-
lakeside?
Nah, man. Your videos, Ellie's video, how much it got? Like 450 plays or something? Where'd it go? I just pulled it up.
Too many tabs.
Yeah.
Very common problem
talking,
for
Allie?
people who critically think.
Can't hear you, babe. Talk. Hold on, we can't hear you. Your mic is down like almost all the way. All right, talk
Noticing
now.
a little bit of a delay.
Okay, so I have this video playing. So Joseph Smythe here says your argument. Okay, so animals kill other animals to survive and take their property. You're not making sense. So we are not animals. We are smarter than animals, and we can get by without killing animals to survive. We don't have to take their property. We are not of lesser intellect or in a life or death situation to where we would have to kill to eat. So comparing our lives and the lives we live to animals and appealing to animals in nature as an argument for carnism is really a complete fallacy. So I am making complete sense. You're the person who's turning us into mindless, savage animals. So you're the guy not making any sense.
Why do these people want to stoop to the level of an animal? And if they did behave like that in a polite society, it wouldn't last very long. They would end up in a cage or in a body bag.
Yeah, fully, completely. Okay, there it is. I found it. So, yeah, these carnists love telling me I'm not supporting natural law, not into natural law, and all this stuff, and that I'm actually immoral. It's funny the things these people say, but let's watch Allie's video now. So fake ass animism with the sound up. Boom.
And I was doing a little bit of research and just like kind of like surface level. What does the Wikipedia say animism is? And to me, it sounded like it aligns with veganism. The main difference that I'm seeing with our friends Will and Logan's definition of animism, the separation is the moral.
You fucking losers!
Objective versus subjective morality. So from what I've seen them talk about,
Fucking trash apes.
Sort of reference, especially when it comes to diet, they sort of reference their ancestral influences when it comes to their choices and when it comes to judging the morale of one's diet. We know on an instinctive level what beings can experience harm and pain and suffering on a level that we know and we can experience. And another thing that I understand is animism has to do with our personal connection with nature, right? So that is a subjective experience, and that is, we have to experience empathy and our connection with nature, that is a subjective experience, right? But in deciding what our actions are in the world, we have to have an objective moral compass and measure, right? So that's where it's a little disappointing and worrisome in this natural law community of it being applied to people's individual choices and their subjective interpretation of morality. I see some problem when talking about others or trying to convince people to go vegan. There's things that you sort of forget you have to explain, right, when it comes to the empathy and connection we feel with animals. And so that is a central part of kind of sparking that empathy is, I guess, animism, but that personal connection with nature. And to me, all roads to least harm lead to veganism.
Yeah. So
Allie, not
Allie's
hearing you for
page
some reason.
popping.
While you're talking. Hey, you guys been doing good, the algorithm lately. Getting that truth
Almost
out.
every video she gets like 450. She's doing better than most of these fools. Oh, what's up, Patty? Patty's in the house. We got so I don't know. We just so we went on a tear this last couple of weeks with these One Great Work boys. And let's see, what do I got up next? We want to talk about Cheese Cave, or do we want to move on to One Great Work boys? The cheesecakes, the government cheese caves, Braxton, or should we leave that for later or next week?
I don't know. I'm curious to hear more about that, but I've heard the story. It really just shows how just boneheaded government is. But like whenever we want to do that, it's an interesting one.
It's a quick one. We'll just watch that now. We'll save the boys' stuff till later.
There is a gigantic cave of cheese underneath my city. I am on a mission to find out why. For the uninitiated, my name is Austin. I hail from Springfield, a former cowtown turned third largest city in the state of Missouri. Springfield's pretty swell. Aside from being the birthplace of Route 66, the home of Bass Pro Shops, and the Wonders of Wildlife Museum, it has several lakes, almost 100 parks, over 100 miles of bike trails, and numerous underground caves. Missouri has in fact long been known as the Cave State, with over 7,000 documented, some public, many private. These caves are often quite beautiful, with rich
Private
history
caves.
and
I want
folklore.
one.
Probably the most well-known in our city is Fantastic Caverns, which operated as an underground speakeasy in the 1920s and now 100 years later serves as one of the city's most popular tourist traps. But as Greta Cross of the Springfield News Leader notes, the town's underground cheese cave isn't actually a natural cavern. Rather, it's part of a 3.2 million square foot high-security warehouse known as Springfield Underground. Originally started in 1946 as the family-owned Greisemer Limestone Quarry, after successfully scratching the surface, the mining operation moved underground, and by 1960 had become one of the biggest limestone mining operations in the country, with enough being removed to build a 250,000-foot operations warehouse. 5.5 decades and over 31 million tons of limestone later, the Greisemer Stone Company started to realize that profits would stop once the limestone ran out, so they shifted from the mining business to the storage business. Cold storage. The ambient temperature of the former limestone mine is a constant 62 degrees, and with 3.2 million square feet free from topside exposure and an on-site maintenance crew that works around the clock to manage the temperature of buildings from 55 degrees Fahrenheit all the way down to -20, the site is the perfect environment to store refrigerated foods. The ins and outs of this underground facility used to be better
Who says they have to intelligently understand their rights? I can intelligently understand their rights, and that's all that matters. Joseph Smythe. These are terrible takes you're having here, dude. Like, these are not good arguments.
Is
And
there
you're just
informed
sitting here
consent in what
calling
you're
us
doing?
biased, and you think that wins the argument. Everything you have said so far is a really dumb argument.
If you
Like,
attack
you're
somebody
saying that there's
because
some
you-
rule book. Who says?
Yeah, if you go and attack somebody because they don't speak the same language that you do, are you justified in doing that? Like, how stupid can you be? Honestly.
Yeah. Like, do you just punch every person you see that's not speaking your language? It's the same thing, dude.
I mean, that's a little rhetorical, but seriously, like, look at what you're saying. Look at what you're trying to justify here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
slippery
pretty
slope.
pretty weak.
You're on
dude.
it. It's pretty whack, bro.
It's pretty whack, bro. Try using reasoning with animals. I don't need to. And many people do use reasoning with animals. What do you mean? You're talking about animals as if they're all one thing. You're generalizing and blanketing. Like, you're not even forming arguments here, dude. Why? What do you mean? Keep
Just
why don't
justifying
you use
genocide.
examples instead of just saying your theory on what my behavior is? Why don't you just say specifically what the problem is? Yeah, this guy's clown
Yeah, that's
show.
an interesting
Clown show.
Known, but starting around
Cheese tunnel.
2015, the company began playing things a bit closer to the vest. Public tours were halted. Entrances are now heavily guarded and require special access. Clientele became less publicized, but what we do know is that the facility is state-of-the-art. The underground contains
Damn.
several buildings that range from 50,000 to 400,000 square feet. It sports 224 docking doors, has a specialized...
Babe, does seeing a place like that make you like? Does it give you like Fallout vibes? Like, does it give you like you get like excited like Fallout style? You're not coming through.
My-
Your mic. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Did the mic melt?
The mic melted.
Got too hot.
Yo,
He's
I
still-
gotta.
Truth
I gotta
requires
take off.
reasoning and logic. Therefore, you guys should eat meat because truth requires appeals and logic or appeals and emotion. Okay, dude.
You're just saying
Appeal to emotion, but he's
nothing.
left brain dominated.
Just
He's
doing nothing but saying nothing.
Yeah, he's
Doing
being overly
nothing,
logical. He's-
saying nothing. Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna take off. I'm about to go to that vegan fair. I might come back
okay.
on while I'm there, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure yet.
Okay.
All right, good
All
luck
right.
with that, man. Keep us posted.
Later.
Peace.
protection system, contains 3 miles of lit underground roadway, and even has its own powered rail system. It's pretty much straight out of Half-Life. But perhaps the most impressive thing about Springfield
Played that
Underground
again
is
recently.
that so few people know that it's even there. Despite it having direct access to Highway 65 and Interstate 44, most residents of Springfield are blissfully ignorant of the fact that their town contains a massive underground facility that stores classified material from highly confidential clients. I'm not saying there are zombies down there, but I'm also not saying that there aren't. So, okay, enough about this crazy facility. Where did the cheese thing come from? Is it a joke? Some kind of weird, elaborate hoax? Well, actually, no. The Cheese Cave of Springfield, Missouri is very real, and you can thank the federal government. So, federal food and farming laws go through the United States Department of Agriculture, better known as the USDA. These are the folks that make sure your food is safe to eat, that agriculture production goes.
So the government buys cheese by the ton off of farmers when they can't sell it and just keeps a stock of it. and like manipulates the market, the food industry, and used advertising to us in school in order to push cheese as being, I think, raise the price of cheese or something like that because they hold so much of it. It's like a stock. It's just this complete nonsense, ridiculous billions of dollars of tax dollars spent to store cheese underground as a commodity, like just ridiculous.
Smoothly, yada yada yada.
They
And
think it's
also
gold.
regulate, assist, and promote the U.S. dairy industry. You remember dairy, cows and milk, butter, cheese. Yeah, you're smart. The thing is, the price of milk tends to be volatile. This is due to various factors outside the scope of this video, but what you do need to know is that in 1949, the USDA under President Harry Truman created the Dairy Product Price Support Program to help out struggling dairy farms. In a nutshell, when the price and demand for dairy drops too low for dairy farmers to sustain their operations, the United States government agreed to buy all of the unsold inventory, thus keeping those farmers in business. But like, what is the government supposed to do with all that dairy? Dairy spoils, and having to figure out how to store it all, that costs even more money. So massive stockpiles of cheese were sent to over 150 warehouses across the country as a temporary way of dealing with the excess inventory. But the problem didn't exactly go away. As the government program went on, inventory started compounding.
Oh, this
You see,
guy's
knowing
great.
that Uncle Sam had
He's given us
promised to
all
buy
the best
all of their
He's given us all the. Oh, so we have to be farmers now. We can't know anything about the industry. We can't know anything about morality. We can't know anything because we aren't farmers. The guys that are responsible for destroying America's cropland, now they're having to regenerate it because they irresponsibly used it for so long. Now they're paying the price. And that's probably one of the reasons why they're trying to push people to go. Some people are trying to push people towards animal meats, is because you can't push farmland past its capabilities. You can't just destroy all the croplands, lower the value of the croplands. Like, these guys are businessmen. When they start losing money because their irresponsible practices, they pull back. So they realize that if they expect to continue eating meat into the future, that they have to chill out now. So, that might be why you hear sometimes some, or the impossible meat and all that stuff. It's not because these guys are vegan and wanting to push people vegan, because they own, Bill Gates owns more cattle than almost anyone. He's got cattle. He's got giant cattle farms in almost every continent in the world. Yet you're saying he's pushing. He's not. He sees. They read the reports about the farms, and they hear about the less and less crop space that they have left, and so they're trying to slow down. So that's one theory. But yeah, we need to be a farmer. Oh, not theory, but fact, dude. I've had farm animals before. So am I credible? So, you only have to spend $1,000. Yeah, you only have to make $1,000 off your farm to be a farmer. So someone who has some wild berries in their yard, they can sell some berries and be a farmer. And then somehow you think all the knowledge of farming and agriculture of all time gets zapped into their brains the second they become a farmer. Dude, your arguments are complete shit. Keep them coming, though.
Yeah, keep them coming. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, I'm not gonna...
nonsense.
Yeah, and okay, so you have to be a farmer to diagnose these issues, just like with that event that happened like more or less 4 years ago that everybody was freaking out about. You shouldn't do your own research. Okay, let's just take everybody's word.
You should
for
look
it.
at farmers. Let's go to farmers and of course farmers want you to eat meat. That's how they make money. How you think that they wouldn't be biased boggles my mind, dude. Like, are you kidding? Like, let's go ask the cops if they're let's hold on, Braxton. Let's go talk to the cops and ask the cops if there's corruption in the police force. They'll tell us because they know they're cops. What do we know? Like,
yeah, full
are you
transparency.
kidding with
Totally
these?
honest.
Look at this guy. All he could do is say fanciful, fancy sentences that sound really deep, but he's not saying anything. It falls flat on nothing.
Yeah. He's not
Oh,
actually
I
saying
don't know
anything
the difference between theory and fact. Oh.
It's like we're
Fact, if
stating
you
fact
kill all
here.
the animals in the world, we're fucked. So you probably shouldn't try and kill all the animals in the world.
Yeah, maybe keep some around in case we ever actually need to. Just like how veganism states, you know, reducing animal harm and exploitation as much as practically possible. That doesn't disclude survival situations. If you're in a survival situation, sure, you have the green light to go ahead and kill an animal if need be. Otherwise, look at where we're at right now. The average person can go out to any grocery store and we can get the foods that we need to get by.
The remaining stock, these dairy farmers cheekily decide.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was pretty much done there, but that's just, this guy is, he's not making any, he's not doing himself any justice
nothing
here.
Yeah, he's just got ridicule and a bunch of bad arguments.
Yeah, and he's trying to be
And now, now I'm triggered. Says the guy who's at a vegan podcast talking shit. I'm the one who's triggered, huh?
Like, come up if you're not triggered, you know?
Yeah, come up, pussy.
Come talk that game.
Do you know the difference between theory and fact?
No, we got plenty of facts for you, dude, if you really want to get into it.
To just churn out more and more dairy than ever before because, I mean, they're gonna buy it, right? Right. And the more the government bought, the more they had to store. We're talking hundreds of millions of pounds of cheese, with more and more being purchased every year. The whole situation eventually, to many, became a symbol of government overreach and waste. The USDA finally decided to tear up the dairy support agreement, and officials mused that the most cost-effective solution to the entire debacle would likely be to just dump all of that cheese into the ocean. Finally, by the end of the century, it looked like things were settling down. Until 2016, when
Into
the
the
Trump
ocean, just like
administration
Fukushima.
began
How retarded.
offering large farming subsidies to offset the impact of its trade war with China, Canada, and the European Union. All at once, cheese was back on the government menu. As a result, the United States government soon found itself with another 1.5 billion pounds of cheese that it needed to store. While plenty of cheese wheeling and dealing had gone on behind the scenes, including selling some of this inventory to private companies, the storage of much of these stockpiles is handled by none other than Springfield Underground. And while many dairy fans in the Springfield and the Ozarks area might be excited to learn that so much cheese is literally beneath their feet, in truth, we're probably cheddar off without it.
Oh!
This video is sponsored.
Yeah, so more nonsense waste of tax dollars. Carnist. Basically continuing carnist traditions from the past that aren't necessary so much that it completely throws our whole economy out of whack. They steal money from all of us nonstop to fund it. All your tax dollars. A large amount of it goes to war and a large amount of it goes to meat and dairy subsidies. Well,
it's even worse than like that's almost, I don't know, I'd have to kind of process that a little more mentally, but that's almost worse than the landfill situation we've been looking at for like almost a century. Like dumping it into the ocean, what a great idea with all these issues of like bleaching coral reefs and all that kind of stuff. Like, just go ahead and pollute the oceans even more. Like, how boneheaded.
Yeah. Continue how we're doing things now, Joseph Smith. You're real smart. Keep up factory farming. Don't try and cut back at all. Continue clogging your arteries with shit food that kills you by the time you're 50.
Yeah. or severely cripples you and makes your quality of life plummet. Good luck being a burden to the rest of the world. Like, thank you for your contribution to society.
Yep. Yep.
Like, vegans end up living happy into their 80s and up way beyond their 80s.
Yeah. Sorry to have to do this, everyone, but we have to expose these carnists, man.
Oh, this should be good. This is nasty.
So this movie, who was it? Alex gave us this link, and it's probably going to be pretty gross. But there's, yeah, let's go.
This all got started last week. This all got started last week on a Sunday. It's been about 5 days since I acquired this New York strip and left it in a jar in my truck. It sat there nearly the entire time. No lid on the jar, just there to air out. Basically been dry aged. Look at this meat. It's got nice and fizzy. You need a haircut, my man. We'll take care of that. It's a regular run-of-the-mill grain-fed. Nothing special. Just a nice little cut of beef here. We're gonna try it out. It's got white mold.
Ooh, that's some good eats.
Mold. It's got weird little dimple thingies. Little bumpiness. Seems like under extra moist conditions, get a lot more bacterial. But under the dryness, seem to get a lot more fungal activity going on here.
I love how it's high meat, like high magic, like some occult stuff. It's just nasty, but it's hidden from society.
Look at the interior. Nothing going on in here. Nice, fresh, delicious looking meat. Interesting. All right. About to find out. Woo. This thing's smelling great. So.
I bet the cat would like that.
Comment.
Actually, no.
From one of my
probably
viewers.
wouldn't.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't
Too
eat
bad.
that. Yeah, that's
And he was asking.
nothing alive would eat that.
What do you think?
Sorry, Steve.
If he could eat the meat that was left out by the.
Oh my God.
Looks like dried white dog poop. Have fun eating that.
I was gonna eat it
When it gets all fuzzy.
but it took me too long to build up the courage. The wife ended up coming home from lunch.
You have to build up courage to eat your meals.
This guy's channel, so you can go, so you can leave a comment on his fucking channel about how gross he is.
I was planning on eating it after she left and went back to work, but she informed me that she was too sick to go back to work. She'd already told her boss and she was staying home, so my little buddy here just had to camp out in the closet and until Saturday, my wife proclaimed, "What the hell is in that closet in the bathroom?"
I bet
No
you did.
kidding.
This luxurious piece of meat that I've been stashing.
I'm gonna put him on
I sure
double.
not to worry, and I would
Barely here.
quickly dispose of the fungally goodness. Now I'm a little hesitant because I've eaten a lot of bacteria-ridden meat. I know that stuff is incredibly good and always does me great, but I've never chowed down on some fungulated meat. So this is going to be a new experience. So,
Hey, that's the word I use.
we're going to follow the protocol for new experiences and new foods, and we're only going to taste a little bite and then see how that sets on us. And if it goes over well, then we can finish this steak off tomorrow.
That was the word.
But if it goes horribly, then we just keep taking little bites until we see if it
if our digestive comes around, and if it doesn't after like the third try, then
Comes around.
we'll scrap the project.
Digestive comes
Oh, after
around.
you have a meal that you don't want to touch.
Oh,
with
and he's
your hands.
using scissors. I don't know why that makes it more
Why?
gross. Using Scissors.
Yep. So let's just go right up out of the middle here.
Used to seeing the enzymatic nasty stuff. Yeah.
Hair on your meat. Puts
Used
hair
to
on your
see,
chest.
Like Stage
Hair?
with his like fermented.
Oh, there's
liver.
dog hair on it.
No, it's like the hair from the fungus.
That's some actual hair.
You know, when you like food gets
No,
bad.
dog
it's
hair.
like-
He said
Oh,
dog
it is.
hair.
Oh, well, if you're eating this already, whatever. Oh God,
Yeah,
this is
board
like-
giving you this.
You should have
Is
no
that
qualms.
Devin?
Incredible.
okay, that's
It doesn't smell
Devin.
bad. Like
Oh man.
it has a little bit of odor, but
hair.
since it was dry aged, there's not a lot of moisture, and the fungus has a funk, but nothing like the bacteria. Oh my gosh! So
Oh,
This is your life now, dude.
chewed it a few times for flavor, and just swallowed it down. Kind of tastes like some old deck boards, or kind of had that dry powderiness on the outside from the mold.
Deck
A
board.
little bit of blue cheese.
Mm.
Yeah, a little bit of blue cheese finish.
I just don't know what to think about this sometimes. Like I'm here.
You should know what to think about it all the time.
My mind is getting blown too.
What has my life become?
Yo, I meat's coming right along.
Is that a giant slug?
A real man's
Oh, maggots.
placenta, like when people save the
Yeah.
placenta and then bury it.
Yeah. This is vulture food.
Braxton's gonna
Yeah.
throw up.
I know the meat's ready once these flies.
The meat's ready, guys.
Flies.
Meat's ready.
When I first started
So
it,
ready.
some maggots got in here, but
It's gonna
I
be.
kind of left it in the direct sunlight, and they all kind of died. You see, they got nice and big and fat, but there's the dead maggot carcasses.
Does he eat
And,
the dead
so I
maggot
just continued
carcasses as
aging
well?
meat, and eventually a few more little
That are getting left
maggots got
behind?
into the meat, but not very many.
He's gonna
And then one day
show.
I
Eat the
went to the
worm.
grocery store, and dang it, I forgot to put the lid back on the jar. When I came home, first thing I checked on was my high meat, and there was a little clutch of eggs perched right on top of this flesh.
Oh, cute.
Let's check on the old high meat project.
Day 81. Jesus.
Can you see them swarming around in there? They're getting pretty big. Now, I left the lid off the other day and forgot about it. I went to the store and thought, oh crap, I forgot to put the lid back on. But I couldn't just turn around and go straight home. That would alert the wife to my project, and she's not a fan of high meat. I wonder why. But when I
He's
got home, I found a little
hiding
clutch of
his
eggs
meat project
that were
from his
laid right on
wife.
top of my meat.
That's
So,
disgusting.
the previous maggots that were in here
That's a bad
I let them grow in
sign.
direct sunlight, and they got toasted. And see all the little maggot corpses laying around meat.
That
Those
hit
little guys.
meat from
They
you.
didn't make it. But this new batch, they're going strong, and I'm keeping them out of direct sunlight.
I can't even.
Right now, they're all kind of hidden up inside the meat.
Ah!
They don't like being disturbed. But I find them useful because us high meat fermenters love keeping our meat anaerobic. And as long as these guys are alive, I know there's plenty of oxygen on my meat. If the oxygen levels drop, treat or whatever goodness is left in the bottom of this jar.
Oh, it's
I
like
think
the
most of them
larva. Oh god.
went into the pupating state and kind of failed. So we haven't really gotten any flies out of this jar. Right there. There's some more. Yeah, they're happy. They're in here in the sludgy bacterial slime, just enjoying life and having a good old time. Maggots love high meat too. There's another guy.
So he's not going to
Drop a comment.
right?
And tell me
He's
how many
just-
maggots you can count
Yeah, it's
on this piece of high meat.
used quite a lot.
Yeah. And then
I think he's
special treat for whatever goodness is left in the bottom of this jar, because this is all going down tonight. I'm not taking a little nibble. We're just going to eat the entire steak.
No.
Yeah, so got about 16 ounces of beef blood from work today from all the meat cutter. The chef was cutting a bunch of beef and saving me all the fat scraps, and I took all the beef blood. See all the globule fat in there? We're going to dump this blood in here,
No, you're
mix
not.
it up, and use it to get all the goodness out of this jar. But I'm not going to drink it yet. We're going to wait until after the high meat is eaten and then use this to wash it down. That way, we get everything. Because we ain't fooling around tonight.
Hi, I'm Dioso, and I'm here talking about high meat. It's my first time ever taking a look at high meat, and I mean, the smell isn't that bad, like they say. Also, and I'm here for my first time experience high meat. I mean, for the looks of it, I mean,
Scumbags.
not that dry, but still
Like, look at this
good. To be honest, it doesn't smell bad as it would.
in some garage.
I don't know how this is gonna work out or play out. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah, are you going to taste any of this today?
They have to
Maybe just touch it with the tip of your finger and put it
In
on
the
the tip of your tongue.
parking
And
lot,
you don't have to if you don't want to.
I don't know how to distinguish that taste.
eating nasty stuff in the parking
A
lot.
lot of people will say it tastes like cherries or cherry wine.
I mean, that's a fiery taste, to be honest. Maybe.
Did it come anywhere close to anything like that?
Not so much.
They
No, I
wouldn't do
didn't
this in
think so.
broad
A lot of
daylight.
people have a lot to say about high meat, but
Yeah.
yeah, look at this stuff. Now this is the side that was in the bottom of the jar, and it stayed really moist. So let's put this baby over. Look at the dry side. See what's going on over here.
I got some
see this
tacos
side
that
with all
make
the,
people sane after
Now remember
seeing
what the steak
something
looked like when I first got it. It has disintegrated a lot since then. These little maggots have really gone to town here. They've been in like heaven. All right, let's shout out. Got some gloves because I don't want to stink up my hands because that would also
Why
stink
would
up my
you
steering wheel.
do this to yourself or anybody else?
Hopefully, the thing we stink up today will be my face. And this little board
Imagine
that I got off
eating
the pallet
something
that I
that
busted up.
you
I'm gonna use
have
that
to
as my
wear
plate
gloves to
because
touch.
it's a disposable
Putting
plate.
it in your
Who knows what kind of chemicals and
He's
treatment
only
they use on
got
this board, but,
2,000
way better than
subscribers,
styrofoam,
which means he's not even
Right now, I'm gonna cut it
monetized.
into little
He
pieces.
can't even make money off this
Might cut
video.
it back in half.
Yeah, this dude doesn't want to get this on the exterior of
cooked
his
it.
body.
Exactly.
I mean,
All the maggots are left of the
do
really
that
good
with
ones. I don't have any big, nice,
That
large
doesn't look like
maggots in here to show you.
Yeah, I
No,
call
he cooked
bullshit.
it.
This is bullshit. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it looks like you did cook it. Huh?
He cooked
This is gonna be cool because we're gonna have all these dead maggot bodies too.
I mean,
Like, this
still
would be
gross.
acceptable.
But
I mean, yeah.
This would be acceptable
When I
if
made
you're
that,
cooking like
tuna into high meat,
extremely
it's just completely
spicy
disintegrated.
peppers, like
No,
ghost
wait, you did tuna
peppers
into
and
high meat.
above.
You need to focus,
This
just
is
tap on the
just
screen and we'll focus on whatever
this
whatever
is
you're
just like
tapping on.
exposing
Make it fuzzy.
people to
Go ahead,
like
take a look at this guy.
actual health hazards.
Yeah, you got it? Come up here. You got it. Yummy. Tasting like high meat.
Your parasites love it.
There's quite a few little baby maggots in here. Not baby, but they're in the first like third of their maggot life.
just eat it, bro. Stop cutting it.
Yeah.
Saved him. He almost got away.
Be a
I'm gonna start dropping maggots
man.
and blood. Is there escaping? And that's not good because this is dinner.
Yeah, put it back.
Yeah,
Eat
back
the
here.
worm.
Suck her down.
Eat the worm, just
They don't wanna
like
be
just
around.
like tequila.
They don't want to be around.
Big ass Jeep Cherokee.
But I want them around. I'm excited about this. It's gonna be horrendous. Most like
I'm hungry.
I was in the raw.
That's the nice part
forum
about being
on the
vegan
internet
is
there.
we can separate
And
this
fellow
kind
was
of
talking about how
nasty
he was making
stuff
some
from
high
the
meat, but it
things
didn't
we
go as well as the last
actually
batch. It's got mold all over it.
Chilling.
I'm not too worried about mold. Not that I can tell you any scientific evidence or blah 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 on mold, but this meat was moldy. I ate the fuzziest part of it while it was moldy. I didn't do anything about it. I just left it in the jar and let the bacteria take over. And the mold kind of seemed to go away. And I'm happy with this. I get it on this piece so you can see this little bugger crawling around on there. You got focus real good?
Happy with it.
First bite, y'all.
Oh.
No.
I bite it a couple times to get my saliva on it, and then I just pretty much swallow it the fuck down. The taste is not
Yeah.
horrendous. Like the tuna was. The tuna was like, bam!
The tuna was like, bam,
Taste is
straight
strong.
mercury to the brain.
Yeah. Kind of glad I aired it out for like a week before this. Oh shit. So, this high meat is inundated with aerobic bacteria.
High meat, high magic.
Yeah.
Inundated is a great word to describe it.
That was one of the little maggots that went into its transformation stage. I just bit it.
This is great work that you can't share with the rest of the world. This is a culting. This has to be a
What's in store for
culting.
him? You can feel the back of my throat start to spice up now as the bacteria. Yes, it is quite spicy. It,
Yeah.
I don't want to explain this flavor to you guys.
I do that.
Woo!
I do that.
That woo was.
when
Oh
I'm eating
God!
pepper.
Don't throw up.
But I wouldn't know how to begin.
Yeah, I do that when I'm like eating hot peppers and
is
stuff.
not
Like
super
that's
fancy steak.
acceptable. This
I
is
got this from a
disgusting.
From my coworker, he gave me a leftover steak. It was going to be turned into chicken fried steak.
Wiener.
I had a better idea. Woo! God damn.
Woo!
I'll zoom on in here.
Woo!
So I got all the dead maggots and some of the pods. This is going to be my next bite.
Eat that shit,
Not worried about maggots. I'll live in the
boy.
city. Who knows what these flies were living on before they
Eat
got to my
those
meat?
goddamn maggots. Yeah, that's right.
No, pretty much just swallowing
Don't
this
be
stuff as I
pussy.
can.
Literally no chewing, no just swallowing it.
I chew it minimally.
Okay.
Pretty much just enough to see the tough spots to get it lined up.
I
Put with
do
saliva
it
so shoots down
minimal.
your
Yeah,
gullet.
because
I feel that. I feel that.
you don't want to taste that.
Okay, okay. I do the
I'm
same.
definitely not getting any pussy tonight.
I'm.
Alright,
Oh.
this will be my final test where I'll be able to tell if high meat actually gets you high.
I haven't been poisoned.
Yes. You just gotta talk yourself into swallowing each bite.
I don't know if we need to watch any more of this. That's
Please make it
gross.
Stop, please.
Carnism. It's cool. Fun. Yuck.
Yeah,
We
that's
need to make like
that's
a vegan
almost as,
parody of just like vegans eating rotten like fruit and vegetables and stuff, but not actually.
Yeah.
yeah. This kind of stuff is like almost as bad as showing people like Dominion and like Earthlings sort of footage of like slaughterhouse stuff. Like this is just like, hey, look, this is how far things could go. Just following your train of logic.
Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, I guess we'll get into these guys now. So yeah. Oh, so Will Keller. So this guy was pumping out like 16 videos a month. The week preceding us kind of starting to make videos and include him in them. He had done like 6 videos that week, or 6 or 7 videos the week we started our campaign on him. And then let's see, let's pull this up. Then here, wait, where'd it go? There we go. So, all right. So the videos we got like 2 weeks ago when we started, this dude was pumping out videos, right? And shorts. And lives. I guess he hasn't done one of those in a while, but just about the same last week. So last week, in the last 9 days, he's put out 0 videos ever since we started going after him. Then today, he did go on this live show, and so he went on this live show a few days ago. And then he posted it this morning. But for 9 days, he was putting out. The previous week, he put up 7 videos that week. So a video every day, basically, and basically hit a wall. Then he does this.
So.
And what do you see different about Will Keller in this video, Braxton?
He's a lot lighter this time around in a couple of different ways.
Yeah. He shaved his beard.
Yeah, he's missing a little something.
Yeah, and he's wearing a white t-shirt.
Yeah.
What has been something that we have brought up to Will many, many, many times? Or what do we constantly put out to talk about on this show are these cosplay. You're all anime.
Yeah.
When are we talking about anime? These cosplay shamans, these Will Kellers and Rogan Harts and Cody Endrulat, Scaboza, all these guys. I don't know. They're basically having AI write the material, and they put it out, and it completely falls flat because it's AI. These dudes put out as much content as possible. And so we've been making fun of the cosplay shamans, how they always wear black button-up shirts and have pentacle necklaces and have big beards, and they're just like always wearing this cosplay uniform. And now Will Keller shaves his beard and shows up for the first time all week with a white t-shirt on. For the first time, you go back, look at all his stuff. He's been growing that beard for like probably a year and a half. And he just happens to cut it when we start pointing out he's wearing a uniform, a costume, like all these other clowns do. Like, you don't have to wear a black t-shirt. You don't have to wear a black button up if you're into the occult, guys. You know, like, you don't have to start like this wizard or something. It's really goofy. Yeah, so Braxton went on Will Keller's show and asked him a very simple question. And Will Keller started talking about our show here and said that he was making fun of our numbers, right? He was like, oh, you know, no one's fucking watching that show or something like that. And so let's look here. Let's do a comparison of these 4 guys or these 3 guys that we're talking about tonight. So let me pull up. Okay, let me go back to where'd that go? Realign. We'll go back. So Will Keller's Passio's right-hand man. He's got 1,000 subscribers. I was his 1,000th subscriber. I made sure of that. I waited several days for the last couple to tick, and then I was his 1,000th subscriber. So Will Keller has 1,000 subscribers, 291 videos, and 50,000 views. Yikes. Those are really bad numbers. That means that of your 1,000 subscribers, or your 999 subscribers, because I'm your 1,000, they only watched 50 of your videos. Does that make sense? Yeah, that would make sense. If it's 291 videos. If basically. So yeah, so not all of your subscribers have watched even half of your videos, basically. And those numbers, for 291 videos, you should probably have a shitload more views and a lot more views today and a lot more comments and likes and stuff like that. But we showed the other day, last week's show, the thumbnail was a screenshot of your channel, and you had posted a video that didn't get a single watch in 2 days. That's the world and YouTube telling you that your content is not good. I'm sorry, and we've been watching, like, we really overestimated when we were starting to look into the videos and the content of these 3 guys. We very much overestimated them. And now that we've dived in, it's just they're using AI to write really fanciful poems. Like, I don't even know what to call them. Like, they're just saying, it's just saying a lot, but nothing, saying nothing at the same time. What'd you say? Like keywords. Yeah, it's like trying to make sentences around keywords to get, to like try and write a paragraph about a subject. It's very, very, very weird. And these 3 dudes do this a lot. You're just watching their stuff and you're like, what are these dudes? Where are these guys going? But Will, for someone with this bad of numbers, dude, you shouldn't talk shit about any other channel that's doing anything really. It's really, really bad numbers. So let's compare, since you think your show's getting so much more. Let's look at my channel. Yes. So 5,032 subscribers, 500 videos. So Will Keller, you have 300 videos, and you only have, what was that, 50K views? I have 500 videos with 1.4 million views. So who's got the smaller channel? Who's getting the more views? Who's the guy? What did you mean by trying to say that I didn't have numbers or something? Because your numbers are really, 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 really bad. And my numbers are actually really, really good. 1.4 million for someone who's a nobody is very, that's a lot of views. Mark Passio, I think, has like 8 million. So I have a quarter of Mark Passio's views. I get the views you get in a month. So I don't understand why you're trying to say that you're somehow doing more work. You're making videos, the people that actually follow you don't want to watch. Like, they're not choosing to watch your videos when you post them. That's not a good sign. And your YouTube's showing you that by the numbers. So let's look at the next guy's video numbers. So the other guy that was with him, and they were chuckling about me not having, us not doing anything over here. This guy here, let's see his numbers. So he's got 4,551, which he's got close to the amount of subscribers I have. He has less than Chill Will's numbers of videos, yet he has 200,000 views, which is 4 times as many views as Will Keller, with roughly the same amount of videos, but with way more subscribers. Still really bad numbers. Like, not great numbers. 200K is nothing. I have a video with 80K on it. So, like, I don't get where these dudes are chuckling, trying to say that they're trying to act like they're getting more exposure or something. Like, this guy's most popular video is 24K, then it goes to 12, then it goes to 7, then it's in the 3s very quickly. So he has a few videos over 10K, 3 videos over 10K. And they're with Mark Passio. So the only content this guy has that's popular is where he's interviewed Mark Passio. So I don't know. These numbers aren't great. Oldest video 5 years ago, 1.4 thousand views. Let's go back. Stop screen, share screen, Will Keller. So let's go to his videos. Most popular. 5,000, 4.6 thousand. I was being nice by saying 5. So that's, and then you go down to 2, then the next one's 2,000, the next one's 1,000, then you're in the hundreds. Your channel's dead. Pretty much dead. So now we're going to go back to mine. Most popular, 62,000. Sorry, I said 80. I misunderstood. 62,000. Then the next one's 54. Holy crap. That's 2 big ones. Then 31, then 25, then 21, then 12, then 11, then 9, then 8. Like, big numbers. Most popular short. Oldest. Citizen Confronts Reporter. Oh, this was a right now.
Excuse me, what was your name? What's up? I was wondering if you guys ever heard of media contagion effect?
No, what's that?
Yeah, there's a study that suggests that mass shootings are actually copycats because the media kind of sensationalizes and makes rock stars out of the shooters.
I mean, I've heard concerns over, coverage. What?
Yeah, any opinions on that?
I don't.
No. Okay, thanks.
That one's fun. But yeah, so obviously, as far as numbers goes, I'm blowing you guys out of the water. So laughing at me for my numbers. And oh, here's your video, you guys' video I made about you guys. 428 views. That's pretty good. Not bad. Love the thumbnail. Thanks, babe. Allie's the queen of thumbnails. Anyway, so yeah, I don't get this idea that you have in your head that you guys have like more content than me or better content than me or anything like that. I've done a quite a bit more work than you guys for a lot longer time. I mean, I got my first. Here's an oldie video right here. Not, I mean, I know I'm sitting here tooting my own horn, but I'm just laughing that these dudes think that, like, I don't know, they were just chuckling at each other, like we weren't doing anything over here. Where to go? Yeah, so this was 11 years ago. 2,000 views.
Hey guys, the non-aggression axiom means that you were put here on this planet a free person, whether it was God or aliens or Mother Nature who put you here. You were put here free. Therefore, no king, president, anybody has a right to take your property or your freedom away from you.
So, Will Keller, when you were Chill Will, sorry, Braxton, I just realized you were back there. So when you were Chill Will, crunk rapping, you know, about partying and your Lolo and all this just nonsense materialistic garbage. When you were doing that, I was making videos about the axiom of non-aggression and natural law and stuff like that quite a long time ago, quite a long time before you've popped onto the scene in the last couple years. So the fact that you're laughing like we haven't been around or we aren't doing numbers or we haven't like been consistently doing videos for, you know, quite a long time now. And you know, we're going over to your YouTube and it says it all right there, man. Like your view, you aren't getting views. Your people aren't, the only comments you get are, oh, you're great. You're great, Will. You're great. You're great, Rogan Hart. We're great, you know. And it's like, these guys don't even know anything, you know. They don't know anything about Logan's past, like the stuff that people know about him. It's hilarious. So I just don't get it. These guys' message sucks. It falls flat because they try and make excuses for oh man, I had that video pulled up. They make excuses for their immoral behavior that they want to keep doing because they don't actually want to do the internal work that it takes to you know, align yourself. And so it's just funny that these guys chuckle and make jokes about my numbers when I have crazy numbers. Like, what are you talking about? 1.4 million, bro. To your 50K, and you got 300 videos. Oh, let's look at Corey. Let's look at Corey now. Brad, I'm glad you're here now, Braxton. You could comment on this some more. So, Mr. Corey, Corey's is shocking. Watch this. Oh, that's not it. Hold on. No. I didn't want to do that. So Corey has 1,269 videos with only 3,000 subscribers, and he only has 350,000 views. 1,269 videos versus my 500 with 1.4 million. So that's well, yeah, it's not, I know Bob, I'm not saying that crazy. Many people have one video that have that many millions, but for someone with with complete dog shit numbers to laugh at me like I haven't been doing stuff or haven't been around or something like that, when I've clearly been around far longer than this clown, you know, it's just kind of funny to me. So I decided to spend a little bit of time on it. But I'm not thinking that I have like fucking what's his name? Any of these, you know, there's dudes that get 10 million on every video. But
yeah,
anyway,
it's a context. It's a context of Will like getting such a big head that he's talking about like, oh, let's see your work, let's see your numbers. Like when he started getting such a big head about it, when he's really not even being
yeah.
consistent, the morals, the principles of all this stuff. That's the issue.
Oh, every video he has. Hold your mic up a little bit closer to your mouth. Every video he has is a contradiction that I've seen. And it's just one after another, just like, and then he's all, I'm here to, oh yeah, I wanted to read his little title thing he has that he's written for himself. I know we all write our own, but let me get him back here. So Will Keller is a freedom activist, animist, anarchist, student, teacher of nature, and a father. Will is the co-host and producer of Natural Freedom League video series, and the content creator for the One Great Work Network. Will Keller is devoted and morally obligated to increase awareness on the casual factors of suffering for humanity and to expand the understanding of the current human condition by educating the public on crucial topics such as conscious parenting. Oh, that was a long sentence. Jesus. He writes like me. Human psychology, human behavior, objective morality, natural rights, and natural law. Finally, he said natural law. Holy crap. Leave it for the bottom, huh? The universal laws of nature. At least he said that. All of these topics are inseparable for understand and achieving true are inseparable for understand. Yeah, that's a big typo. Understanding and achieving true freedom for humanity. If you have found value in my work, you would like to support or donate. There it is. Send me money for my garbage content. Holy crap. Jeez. You can't even spell check your thing, dude. There's like tons. Like even like I'm really like I'm 45, bro. I haven't been to high school in a long time. I'm bad at this stuff, but like this is really bad. And like you're trying to present yourself as a teacher, yet you have massive amount of grammatical errors in your about me, and your videos fall completely flat and are completely word salad at times. Not going anywhere. And I think we affected you in some way. And I think I hope you think about this stuff and try not to appeal to the crowd as much as you do. And because I think you're close. And I think if you actually believed in the things you were talking about, you'd believe in yourself more and you'd come off a lot better in your videos and you'd have actual topics to talk about instead of just stringing along fancy words. I think you would gain respect from the right people above anything. And it's not like you're not going to alienate anyone, dude. No one's watching your videos. Like you're not going to lose the 1,000 people you got. If there's anything, fellow vegans are ravenously, support other vegans. But this just like having a channel that's simply devoted to, debunking, like a low key debunking veganism, like you and your buddies do. It's just not good. It's not good work. It's not good content. You aren't really teaching anything moral. You're only taking tiny steps. You're making tons of excuses, and you're a plagiarist at best. This content's crap. So anyway, yeah. So I love the t-shirt. I love the white t-shirt. The beard looks great. I would love it if you just were yourself more as someone who wants to support you. I would love to just see you be yourself and not try and act like some shaman guru guy. I think your content would go far farther if you did that. And you know, we would be here supporting you instead of pointing out your fallacies and your shortcomings and your hypocrisies. Vegans, I hate to break it to you, but vegans have been your biggest viewers this last month, bro. Like, we really have. You should see an uptick, and you should probably see an uptick on Fast Track CEO too, because we've been watching Peanut Butter. It's our favorite song now. It's really good, dude. Like, we really think you should stick to that stuff and continue to do your activism in ways, you know, that showcase your talents, which clearly you can make a rap video and how should I say it? You can pull it off. You know, you can definitely pull it off. I really want to know how you how you twist your lips like that. I can't do it. I can't. But definitely do raps about natural law and you know, for kids maybe, who knows? Because the crunk thing, you know, I started that shit and it's been dead for a while. What do you think, Braxton?
I'm just kind of catching up here, but I was just replying to Bob's comments because
Spit.
Yeah, so he's saying, you know, we should stick to bigger fish, and it's like, yeah, that's a great point. I mean, there have been bigger fish than Will Keller, obviously. I mean, like, we've dealt you like handled Garland Farms, and like, it wasn't some sort of a popularity contest. Like, well, you know, it might be misconstrued that way, but what this ultimately boils down to is we're trying to correct these people who are trying to, like, they're trying to use their own platform where they have a lot of followers, they have a lot of viewership, and we're trying to tell people, like, if you're going to have this platform, you need to at least be telling things that are objectively true, and you need to be consistent if you're espousing these, like, moral principles. Like, you have an obligation, so to speak. I mean, well, no, not you have an obligation. If you have a following, you should be at least some sort of a role model. And Will Keller is not on the mark right now. His content is just piggybacking off of Mark Passio. He's riding his coattails, and he needs to be more consistent because we've broken down the hypocrisy time after time. Justin Pedini is in the comments. He's not even worth talking about. We've addressed this several times on the show. And like, we're just trying to just set the record straight at the end of the day. I mean, that's why this is a great platform. It might not be the biggest show, but we're doing better every single week, like month by month.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
So yes. So let's see. I can get okay. So yeah, this one here. Here's so we're going back to this bro. Did I pull it up? No, I didn't. Natural. Wait, which one is it? Where does it say paganism? There we go. Here we go. So this guy. So when the first time I saw animism in this dude's title, I was all, "Hey, Allie, that's what he's using to justify his immoral behavior that he wants to continue doing because he doesn't want to actually do shadow work." So we started watching as much as we can tolerate Will and Logan's stuff, trying to figure out what they knew about animism and whether it matches up with the definition of animism that everybody else has in the world. Not that, you know, we're appealing to the crowd here, but we're at least trying to figure out, because I know these guys are using these angles. So we were watching this one the other day. I swear to God, this was called Animism / Paganism Explained in 10 Minutes last week, and it changed. I did leave a comment on it, so he might have gone to it and tried to and manipulated it. But so I was watching it, and I was waiting to find them, you know, finally justify, you know, finally lay out what they thought in animism allows their justification for continuing to eat, sentient beings and not think about, not consider that in their whole quest they're on. And so I finally came across this one where he finally.
So first, let's discuss some of the attributes of paganism. First of all, paganism is non-dogmatic. There is no one way of being it or practicing it or any of that, though they can be tied to specific ancient cultures that developed them and have a historical lineage of the wisdom contained. Paganism is non-denominational and pluralistic. Again, any perspective or tradition that has these attributes is considered paganism. There is no one right way of doing it. It is also non-evangelical. Pagans have no need to force or push their beliefs or traditions or practices on anyone else, because really, what's the value in that? Being a pagan is about walking your
there it
individual
is.
path. What difference does it make whether someone practices or
Look at
believes?
all the microaggressions he's doing. This is the whole reason these guys aren't preaching about natural law from the rooftops like they're supposed to be. They're trying to faction out. They're trying to faction out and have their own faction that allows misbehavior. Oh, why would anyone care if anyone else is immoral around them? Like, are you kidding me? Your message falls flat because of this. You will never have, anyone's real respect because your message it falls short. It stops halfway. This stuff is, like you're just cherry picking this fake ancestral stuff. You got your flat screen that's obviously like 15 years old back here, glowing on your natural law pagan podcast, which is kind of funny. But you got the pinnacle necklace, so you're in the club anyway. So yeah, it's just it's like, okay, there, I finally found them using it in getting microaggressions about it, because they know they've been through Mark's stuff. They know they're supposed to be on this path, and they're not wanting to do it because that means they actually have to do work. It's not hard being peaceful to humans around you. These guys love patting themselves on the back because they follow the non-aggression principle with humans. Like, that's not that hard. It doesn't take that much energy to, it doesn't, like, we've been telling people about the government being bad for a long time. This is a cop-out. We can do multiple things at once. These guys all use the most bogus excuses.
Way you do, and be wary
Dude's
of
a
any
wizard,
religion
like Bob said.
has this as an attribute, this evangelical aspect.
So
of it.
beware of any religion where they actually are consistent and have integrity about their morals and are actually like wanting to be in line with natural law and stuff like that. Okay, right.
Because you have to ask,
because Logan Hart says so, because paganism, because animism, because something else isms. My ancestors, I think my ancestors did this, therefore I'm gonna let that justify me killing sentient beings when I don't have to, just because I want to be buff. And like I want to pull chicks. I want to be a yeah. I want to use girl porn in all my my thumbnails of like Margaroth and all those guys, Wrangler and all the dudes from all the Vikings, which is woman porn. All those Viking shows are woman porn. So Logan's trying to be this guy. And we're talking about cosplay here. He's doing this shit for chicks. He's not doing this, or he might be doing this for dick too, but I don't really know. The guy's weird. He's a poop guy, so you always got to worry about poop guys. If you don't respect yourself enough to not eat poop, and not poop where you live and not poop where you eat, then I
Don't
can't
dabble in the
take
poop.
advice from you. Yeah, I don't see you as being a good person to give advice to other people, especially when it's half-ass. Come up, Bob. I bet you have lots of stories. Come on, man. Did I not put the thing up?
He'd be a very welcome guest.
We need a
Justin.
Justin Bedini versus Bob Tuskin debate.
Yeah, Justin came on here. Like you posted the link up, and Justin was like, "Oh, I can't do it tonight." It's, you're not the one being invited. We're trying to talk to people who don't waste time.
Bob Tuskin, when did you work for Luke Rudowski? Where I feel like when you popped up last week, your name was familiar, and then Ali eventually said you used to work with Luke, and I used to work with Luke.
No, he worked with Mark.
Or
He
you
was,
might
part of
totally
the-
know who. Like, I think he worked with We Are Change for a little bit. I think it was like right before me. I think I may have talked to him on the phone or something.
Okay, yeah, but he definitely worked with Mark. He was saying, I just realized,
yeah,
like who that is. I was talking to him. I was like, oh, that's that Bob. Okay, like
Yeah.
small world.
Ask yourself, what is the motive of that, and why do religion?
I want to hear it all again.
Your individual path. What difference does it make whether someone practices or believes the same way you do? And be wary of any religion that has this as an attribute, this evangelical aspect of it, because you have to ask yourself, what is the motive of that? And why do religions have this characteristic in common with every cult that has ever existed?
What
Paganism
characteristic to spread the message? Everything-ism has spread the message inside of it. So yet, once it's vegans doing it, then it becomes bad that you're trying to spread the message. And like, it's funny, these guys take this victim's like standpoint where they're like, you're trying to force it on me. And it's like, why? Because I make videos? Like, you're the ones, you talked about my show first. You obviously came to my show and looked at it before I went to your show. So who's the one, that's being, yeah. If you were fucking smart, you'd never talk about veganism. Jeez, you guys. So yeah, I don't know. This guy and his
is the sacredness.
Paganism allows me to take my own path, and it according to who? What evidence do you have of this? Because everything that we've learned about animism is do the less amount of harm, and if you have other options for food, don't kill animals. Basically, to a fucking T. That's what animism is. So you have the ability to do more harm, yet you aren't. Yet you're pushing animism as the excuse for you to do more harm. Right, buddy. Hey, Justin.
Fucking trash apes. You fucking lose. You're in a fucking cult. I'm not in your cult.
Can you not hear that?
I know it's coming through.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. So these guys are clowns. And then this Corey guy, man, he made one of the dumbest videos I think I've seen in 6 months. Let me pull it up. Oh boy. I believe I found it last time pretty quickly. Is this it? No. Hold on. Which one was it, Braxton? Do I have it up?
It was one where is it the one where he was talking about the characteristics of the foods that you eat?
Oh, here it is.
Animals?
Here it is. Here it is. All right, you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Dumbest video I've heard in 6 months.
It's like the 16-8, I'm pretty sure, right? And where you do like 16
Wow, this
hours
isn't it.
of sleep
Did I
or
just click it?
whatever, or anything else, and then 8 hour.
No. What just happened? It was the one where he said, listening to your body. Here it is.
popular one is like the 16-8, I'm pretty sure, right? And where you do like 16 hours of sleep or whatever, or anything else,
Is
and
this
an 8
it,
hour is like a
Braxton?
window of which you can eat.
No. Which one was it,
I don't know if that's
Braxton?
I don't recall the name. It was that same.
God, they
He
do
was
look
talking to
the
that dude. Talking to that dude who was dressed like me.
Oh my God, there's a million of them. I just had it earlier. A powerful experiment. Is that it? I think this is
Started
it.
doing oatmeal experiments. I would add coconut oil. I'd start adding cacao. I'd start adding
This isn't
vanilla.
it. Oh man, I had it up and I clicked out of it. It's a lot. Powerful concept. See the illusion. The greatest army on earth. Say something. Talk while I fucking find this thing, Braxton. Jesus, there's dead air.
Dead air.
This is what I mean by listening to your body. Diet. No, here it is. Diet does not matter. That's what it was. Here we go.
Oh yeah, diets don't
And if
matter.
you
Dumbest
sit
video I've
down and
ever.
talk with anybody and ask them about their problems in life, guarantee you it's going to be not the food, it's going to be the other things that are affecting them, and that's causing them to eat certain foods. Let's say somebody's lacking love in their life. They might start eating a lot of chocolate. Somebody's quite salty, like personality-wise. What do you think they're going to eat, right? So you got to think about this. Also, the way people look. I mean, you can start questioning everything. If they eat a lot of chicken products, they might start balding, or they might have some jitteriness. If they eat a lot of cows, they might have a lot more hair on their body. I mean, if they eat a lot of pig, they might have like a more of a chin. Like, and you just start noticing what people eat by looking at them. And you can look at different cultures and notice this as well. People who eat fish, they have very smooth skin. They have more like puffy lips, right? So these are all things I cover in my book because it's so
not genetic
detailed.
at all.
That's why it's almost 600 pages. Having to look at all these
my
different
God.
factors can be.
Oh, he did
quite
the
New
Denny
age
thing.
bullshit, people. New age
He did
bullshit.
He did the Denny thing where he had to put in parentheses the diet that he was pushing, that he was talking about, and that's his diet that he created.
Yeah.
The
Right.
trademark Corey diet.
Yeah, but this guy uses AI to write all of his stuff too. There's been a couple times where we were just like, "Whoa, what is this guy talking about?" What was the one?
Oh, you mean was he the
No,
Bullet Boys
we're
guy?
watching. We're watching that one. Yeah, no, we're watching the one, the Mark Passio one, the interview. Oh yeah, we're watching the interview.
Oh yeah.
There we go. So was it at the beginning of this one? No, it was another one. I don't know if I want to watch that one. That one was maybe we'll look at it next week because we need to work on this guy for a while.
One bank.
So anyway, he had Mark on. Those are the only videos where he's gotten a lot of views. Mark is, I would consider, I would not consider him vegan. I would consider him plant-based because he has a lot of strange takes that we're going to look at right now.
Goes down, the whole world is going to feel it. You know, if one thing happens, the whole world is going to ripple effect into that sort of change. People need to be aware nowadays of what's going on, to say the very least.
Absolutely.
So the next topic that I want to talk about, a lot of people are expecting me to ask this question on behalf of my community. So this is about
a lot of people have asked him to ask this question, yet he doesn't present it in question form, which is odd.
I defer a little bit from you on this issue, but
so what's happening here is Corey's very anti-vegan. He tries to play like he's not, but he is. And every time he has Mark on, he tries to catch him in gotcha moments. And as a vegan, you must be prepared for gotcha moments because that is all the carnists have against us. All they have is the random uneducated vegan that says something dumb, and then they have a meme for till the dawn of time. So we know as principled vegans who are activists who actually care about animals that we have to be activists. We have to do activism. We have to promote activism. We have to tell people to always do better We can't give them outs. And so giving gotcha moments to Carnus is a very icky thing to me. And let's see how this conversation goes.
I agree with you on regards to the morality, right? We shouldn't want to harm other animals.
Okay, so that's
Ripple
lie.
effect into that sort of change. People need to be aware nowadays of what's going on, to say the very least.
Absolutely.
So the next topic that I want to talk about, a lot of people are expecting me to ask this question on behalf of my community. So this is about veganism. I differ a little bit from you on this issue, but I agree with you on regards to the morality, right? We shouldn't want to harm other animals, but I also apply that to ourselves, to the environment, to pregnancy, and to smaller animals. I also see there's a danger in grain agriculture. I see that there could be benefits in keto and paleo diets. I see that supplementation could be often very much unnatural, and looking at what's unnatural, looking at the UN agenda and sort of some of the big corporations and what they're pushing, and looking at even the New Age agenda.
Fucking
Looking
trash
at the free
apes.
world and what people would do. They would probably have backyard chickens.
He took the natural from natural law a little
looking at
too
nutrition and
literally.
bioavailability. So those are all my reasons. I take it from a conscious point of view, and I say, well, you know, there's people that come at me and they say, well, oh, you're not vegan, blah, 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 and you're not standing for truth. And I'm like, well, you know, human slavery is a great part of the problem, but we should also share our compassion with animals. And I agree that the act of harming something is wrong. But if we're giving two actions, in the case of diet, where both contribute to harm, I want to do the least amount of harm as possible with the knowledge that I have. So the best way to do that would be grow your own food, have your own direct access. What are your views on my view on that? Am I some sort of dangerous person for having that sort of conscious view? And is it bad that I hold, at the very least, vegans accountable because they could be causing unconscious deaths for just going vegan or buying the vegan product, not realizing that that product might have, I don't know, palm oil, which endangers.
Oh, it might have palm oil in it, not a fucking animal. That definitely endangered something. Like, bro, what are you talking about? It's nonsense. And then, okay, let's see how many things he's doing here. So he's assuming what all vegans eat. He's assuming vegans aren't also against like a big part of veganism is taking food from responsible places. So most vegans do most definitely dodge products that contribute to animal deforestation, stuff like that. So I don't like, how are you assuming that no vegans do this? These are all blanketing generalizations. They're grasping at bad arguments like usual, but let's go.
Monkeys in South America.
Monkeys in South America, huh? Okay. Let's not talk about the millions and millions and millions of acres that are destroyed by cattle farming in the USA. Let's worry about fictitious monkeys in South America. Give me a break, bro.
Wrap them up. It might have grain products and soy that destroy the environment, and you know,
so soy was introduced in the United States as feed for cattle and the and pigs in the animal agriculture industry. It was not here before then. The only reason we have soy oil is because they have to defat the soybean to make it into meal. These are products of the animal agriculture industry, but Corey Endrulat isn't smart enough to know that. He hasn't actually researched anything about veganism because he's simply anti-vegan and he doesn't want to do the work. So for him to use that example, that's it. That's the example he takes to Mark Passio. Wow, bro. You're an intellectual fucking powerhouse. This is crazy.
Have to be conscious of our choices, I'd say, overall. I also don't think one diet fits for everybody.
We're all humans. We're all mammals. He's edging toward the blood type diet, which is which goes into the whole echo chamber of bro Rogan, bro science. These are all. This is one thing on the list of things that every single person brings to me that is easily debunkable.
What would you say about that?
Well, obviously, this is a very nuanced and charged topic, clearly. And I think I've addressed a lot of these issues on my podcast and talked about some of the pitfalls that people could find when they're entering into living a lifestyle that includes a plant-based diet. You know, a lot of people take a militant approach to this, and I do not. I do address it from the purely moral perspective and take the approach of doing least harm, which is, I guess, where we would differ as to what that approach entails. However, my reasons for choosing a plant-based diet are the primary reason and the primary focus that I consider is that other.
And I've noticed he does make the distinction that he's plant-based because he doesn't want to use the word vegan because it's polarizing. Not that plant-based is that less polarizing. It's just not the V word. Everyone goes to pieces when people bring out the V word. A lot of okay, I'm just going to keep this going.
Others' lives simply are not ours to take or to control. So if you take it from that foundational principle, you know, principle comes from the Latin principia, which means first things. It means putting the first thing first. And if we're talking that is not ours to take.
We just got a good comment from ONC. Paganism tries to justify murder and rape as natural. Wow. Okay. I'll have to look into that. Thanks for that tip.
That is the first basic wrongdoing of natural law. That's the first transgression against natural law is murder. So murder is the taking of life or the theft of life that is not ours to take. So if you look at it from the perspective of the least amount of theft, you know, we talk about harm, and yes, harm is absolutely something that we want to look at and try to limit. But if we take it from even a higher level principled standpoint, and we look at what is thieving, what is taking something that does not belong to us as property, then I think the issue clarifies a little bit. At least it should in most people's minds. And understanding that if you are simply removing the life of an animal for your own purposes, that is a form of theft. Now, going to the issue of what creates the least harm for human beings. I have never been a one to say that someone should become vegan overnight or immediately all plant-based overnight. As a matter of fact, I've repeatedly told people that if you look at my own example of how I did it, it took me 12 years to go from.
Okay, so this is an anecdote he's using as a treasure map for people to find veganism. Veganism, you can go vegan overnight without a doubt, with no health impacts but positive things. This idea that you shouldn't go vegan overnight, that it takes some sort of huge amount of time, is absolute fallacy. And it's just because he took so long, he wants an excuse to give why he took so long, because he's held up very high and a lot of people respect him. So they ask, oh, why'd you take so long? He's like, oh, it's a big process. Oh, you know, and it's like, no, it's not. It could be done overnight. There's a learning curve, sure. But if your heart is in it, you will be successful at it very quickly. So this idea that a large amount of time is necessary, he calls it a transition, but 12 years is not a transition. Like, that's not a transition. You continued carnism, and you didn't want to do the work to stop, and it took you a long time. Just say it like that. Don't tell people this is how they should go about it. That's giving them an out. I know this because your people tell me these outs to me every day. They come up, oh, Mark doesn't care about veganism. He says all the time he doesn't care. He lets people eat meat in front of him. Mark doesn't give anyone getting it on anyone case on the one great work. Yeah, of course he doesn't. They're giving him money. Why would he criticize the people that are giving him money that will most likely give him more money in the future? From a business standpoint, it would be crazy and self-destructive to go after people and force that, or force the idea that veganism, like he doesn't use the V word because he wants to take this like chill, oh, just everyone do it on your own, which for him makes sense because he's selling a product. He's selling a seminars and he wants people to come back and repeat. Like, you can't shit on your customers, so it's obvious, very obvious, his business reasons why he doesn't use the V word or get after these guys for not doing the work and not aligning themselves with natural law, or get after these guys for trying to faction out natural law to some other thing that causes that justifies their immorality, and it doesn't even justify their immorality. So I don't get it. I don't understand why he didn't see this coming. That this obvious anti-vegan is trying to find a gotcha moment, and Mark gives him gotcha moments. So yeah, I don't agree with this in the least bit. Where's the blue thing? There it is.
A ravenous carnivore who ate more meat than I guarantee you I could put just about anybody that under
we
the
all ate meat every day, Mark. Like, we all ate a lot of meat. We go get ribs and eat a lot of meat, and like Korean barbecue. I used to eat Korean barbecue once a week, man. Like, I get it. That doesn't mean it takes a long time or any longer to stop eating meat. It just isn't. It's just an excuse, but you're giving these guys an out to continue immoral behavior because you're telling them things like this. You should just leave this out of all your conversations and answer the questions. You answered his question quite well without having to go in and give him a bunch of outs, in my opinion.
Table with meat eating,
with all due
the way
respect.
that I put it away back in my youth, and to transition from a ravenous that to someone who eats only a plant-based
Carnivore is a carnivore, bro. If you find it in your heart to take it easy on animals, it should be overnight. Most of the people I know were overnight or less than a week, not this 12 years business. Not a transition. I mean, look up the word transition.
And uses no animal products in my nutrition now. That took 12 years. 12 slow, gradual, eliminating one thing after another until I found myself living an entirely plant-based lifestyle. So I would never recommend the doing of this cold turkey or immediately. And when I talk to people who have done harm to themselves by trying to immediately go to a plant-based diet, almost inevitably, almost invariably, it has been people who have done it far too rapidly. Okay, so when we understand the laws of assimilation, which are occult principles and occult laws that apply to the body, meaning that what we take in, okay, the body is going to have to process and figure out ways to use and pathways to use efficiently as energy. We're going to realize that is part of an ingrained process, okay? That is part of a process that becomes habituated, okay? Just like thoughts become habituated in the mind and form neural pathways, the body does the same thing. This is known as the law of assimilation in the occult world, okay? And it has to do with how substances are broken down to become energy that we employ. And the body gets used to these processes, and it sees them, it recognizes them, and then it gets used to how that is done. If you suddenly throw a monkey wrench in there by, say, totally desisting for what was done for 25 or 30 years, and then suddenly doing something different and bringing that down like a hammer. Okay, the
No.
body is not going to know how to react or what to do. It's going to be like, I don't recognize this.
true.
Where is the other things that I was using?
Hammer. You're not. It's not a hammer, dude. It's the food our bodies was designed to eat. We've been poisoning it with meat, and it's been tolerating that. And while yes, your the stomach acids will change when you stop eating meat. It happens very quickly. It doesn't take 9 years. You don't need to ease or wean. People call you call it wean. There's no weaning here. You're not dependent on meat. It's not the ideal food for us. Our body is not made ideally to eat meat. So stopping eating meat as fast as possible is the best thing. Our bodies, our digestive system is not made to eat that. So stopping giving it the wrong food as quickly as possible is the best thing you could do for your health and your morality and for the animals. So telling people it can take up to 12 years, all these guys are not they're going to put it at the back of their list, and they're going to talk shit about vegans until when maybe someday they get fat or something and they go to the doctor and they're like, "Oh, I got to go plant-based," something like that, but they're not doing it because of the excuses you're giving them, Mark. So because they bring me these excuses every day. I know I'm dealing with a lot of people that that know your work and that make excuses for for carnism all day long. They make excuses for carnism, and the excuses they make, you give them. You need to acknowledge that you took way too long to kick dairy and eggs and stuff. That was unbelievably easy for me to stop. The stuff smells like rank after a week of not eating it. But that's irrelevant. You can absolutely do it faster. You took way too long. You took way too long. And you should say that. If you're going to, you should preface what you're saying. All these outs you're giving them, you need to preface it with, I took too long. You should do it a lot faster. Like, aren't we trying to do work here? Aren't we trying to get these guys to do tough work? Like, wouldn't it be a really good exercise for these guys that are trying to actually come up with some sort of content or trying something to prove that they're in line with this stuff outside of just talking about nothing in YouTube videos that no one watches? Like, challenge these guys, Mark. You're not challenging them. You're giving them outs that they use against us all day. They've taken what you've said and completely inflated it into Mark doesn't care. He doesn't think that anyone, needs to do this. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't happen now. I'm vegetarian now. I think that's good enough. It's because Mark says so, basically. It's like they bring us these arguments. Oh, it's polarizing. Oh, like you're acknowledging, by you acknowledging that it's polarizing, you're making it polarizing. You should acknowledge that it's not, and that these guys are being babies, and that they don't want to actually do any shadow work to figure this stuff out. So I don't know. I just
obviously
all the time.
The process is all thrown.
This interview with you when you're with one of these guys that's making just garbage content that he has AI write up for him, and he's giggling as you're saying this because he's so happy that he's got you on his channel, justifying the fact that he doesn't have to go vegan.
In a state of disarray. Okay, that's how the law of assimilation in the body works. So of course, someone who advocates from a militant point of view when it comes to this topic, immediately stop doing this. It's wrong, and you have to immediately change. That's not the proper way of going about it. Okay, the proper way of going about it is recognizing it first from a mental point of view, right? And then you can adjust your
what. Yeah, Ali, good point. What if we were talking about humans, which we very closely are? We are animals just like them. Everything you've said, everything you've taught us, bro. So what if it was humans? Oh, I'm just going to kill humans a little bit longer because there's something else I think that's a little bit more important. Like, I don't understand how you're telling these guys this stuff after everything you've taught us. I don't understand how this is what you say to these. This is your answer to these questions. Just being like, oh, don't worry about it. Take your time. You shouldn't do it fast. You're literally telling people not to go vegan. You're telling people not to plant-based. They're telling me, oh, it's really hard for your body to do it and you shouldn't do it fast. Therefore, I'm taking my time. That's literally what they say all day. And it's what you're saying right now. And it's just not true. And your examples of why you think this are not based in anything but your own anecdote. And you took way too long, dude. Like, you took way too long to figure out that you were fooling yourself, calling, like saying all this stuff and speaking out against carnism, but yet you're still a carnist. And plant-based is really close to being carnist again. So I would really love if you'd come up with something a little bit different to answer these questions. The first part was great, but you should definitely look into the science. I would love to send you some links. Me and Allie, we're study people. We go deep dive into studies. And I know, studies can be corrupted and all that stuff, but 200 years of meta studies, there's no science that says you can't immediately go vegetarian or vegan. Nothing. And if we're, and I'm not being a scientismist when I'm saying that, there's no science backing anything you're saying here, Mark. It's just pure anecdote, and you're spreading it like the gospel, and it's just an anecdote. Yeah.
Alignment with it over a period of time. And the reason you have to do this over a period of time is because you're not going to go against the laws of assimilation. Okay. They are laws. They're not suggestions for the body. They're not suggestions for the physiology. They're laws. And you have to adjust to this over a period of time naturally,
no, you
in
don't.
the way that your body
Naturally? What do you mean
responds to.
naturally, Mark?
So, and that is how I initially did it. I did it by
we are natural. We look at our teeth, look at our eyes, look at our jaws, look at how our stomach works. We're naturally supposed to be. We're naturally frugivores, starch eaters. Like, we're not supposed to be eating meat in any way. It's only for, we have the ability to, in life or death circumstances. Humans are bodies are amazing, but clearly it's immoral and unhealthy. We know this. You're vegetarian. You're plant-based. You know how much healthier you are now. We've seen it back in the day. You are much healthier now than you were then. So I don't get it.
Adjust to this over a period of time.
No adjustment.
Naturally, in the way that your body responds to. So, and that is how I initially did it. I did it by weaning off of red meat first, okay? Which I saw as probably the thing that does the most.
You're not a baby animal. You are not needing to be weaned off of your mother. Mark, come on, man. Like, dude, you're using double speak here. You're using carnist language to justify why it took you so long, when all you have to do is be honest and say you took way too long. That's all we're asking of you. That's all we're asking of you. We love your work. There's just this that sticks out, and it sticks out quite a bit. We hear about it all the time. It's in people's work. They've worked it into their work, the cop-out that you gave them.
Harm to animals and our environment. Now, next, I weaned off of non-red meats. And I never ate fish because I never preferred the taste of anything that came out of the sea. I just never could develop a taste for it in my life, even in my from my early childhood. So that was never an issue. So it was just red meat and then other forms of meat. So it took me approximately nine months to completely wean off of just animal flesh. And I thought it would take much longer.
Absolute
I was in
nonsense.
preparation
It's
myself.
completely arbitrary. That's just when he got around to it. There's no science, nothing, no reason for him to say that you should take this
for
amount
this to
of
be a
time
battle
or anything
and
like that.
for it to take years. And
Does
for
not take years. This is absolute nonsense. And it's carnist language. He's using carnist words. He's using carnist mentality, carnist excuses. This is all BS.
Me to go along kicking and screaming. You know, I thought that there was going to be the hardest thing that I ever did in my life. And it was actually quite natural once I began it, and my body responded to it.
And that would have been how it would have been if you did it overnight too. There's no span of time necessary back to continue eating more of what you're supposed to eat. Like, none of this makes sense at all. The only thing physiologically that changes is your stomach acid changes from, like, it goes down, right? Or no, yeah, your gut changes over a couple months maybe, but that doesn't mean that it can't handle eating fruits and vegetables that whole time. Like, that's just crazy that you think that you have to keep adding meat as you wean off. It's just not. There's nothing about it that's based in science or anything that's true. It's just, this is just excuses to me.
I didn't have a lot of meat cravings. I didn't feel sick. I didn't feel weak. It was nothing like what I was expecting to happen. I was expecting the absolute worst. Now, that being said, I did do it pretty gradually, and I was expecting to do it over maybe a 2-year period, and it took less than one. Okay, so now that
you did it in 2 weeks, and you didn't like that 2 weeks. Okay, not even you couldn't do it in 2 weeks because that's just a nonsense statement. Your body would change immediately. The second you stop eating meat, your body would start making small adjustments that would take a little bit of time, but that doesn't mean that your body would not be able to intake the vitamins and minerals and protein and all the stuff that we eat in vegetables and legumes and fruit and all this stuff. Like, what are you saying that's bad about it? You're not saying it's bad. You're just saying it's bad. You aren't saying why it's bad because you don't have a reason why it's bad. It's just simply your anecdote, and you're trying to build some sort of map around it, which just doesn't make sense. Dude, just tell people you took too long and they should take. It's not.
Having been said, dairy was a problem for me, and it was difficult for me to wean off of that over time.
Yeah, we get it. Cheese is really good. We get it. There's alternatives these days. Holy cow, you'll be shocked at how good they are. These are all excuses. You can still get dairy-ish stuff that's very similar. It's just doesn't taste exactly the same. It's not that big of a deal. So I was addicted to cheese, so I had to keep eating it, and it was really hard. Yeah, we get it. It's hard to stop doing anything. It's hard to do work, but that's life. You have to do work, and if you want to be a more moral person, you always have to be working. You don't just, pitch a tent halfway at the end and stop working and make excuses.
I also used honey for a long period of time until I finally weaned off of that. So, it was a long process when it came to animal byproducts for me, and my body favored a long gradual change for that, and as well as my addictive tendencies, which we all have to some extent or another. A large part of, I feel, animal consumption and byproduct consumption is physiological. it's not just mental. There is a physiological addictive
there's not.
quality to a lot of these things, especially when you look at things that aren't totally pure, that have adulterants in them, like animal hormones and other things that they inject the animals with, like antibiotics and things like that. And the body.
People on heroin kick heroin overnight. You're trying to say meat and dairy have a stronger physiological grasp on your body than heroin? They kick it's overnight for heroin. It doesn't take, I mean, no, there's some people, certain ways of getting off the drug, the stuff that they take and they wean off over a long time. But if you want to just do it, it takes, 24, 36 hours maybe. You feel real sick for a little bit. That's not going to happen when you stop eating meat. Sorry. There's no physiological hold on you. Your body is so happy to be eating what it's supposed to be happy eating and not being overloaded and slowed down and sludged up with a bunch of garbage that's survival food that's only supposed to be eaten in survival situations. That's why everyone dies at 50. Hello. So this physiological, yes, there is a psychological for sure. Cheese is good. I get it. Certain tastes you've been tasting your whole life, you're going to be psychologically stuck on it. But if you're principled and you understand and you have the knowledge, it should be the first thing you want to do once you learn about this stuff. When I first learned about when I first connected the dots with non-aggression principle and subsidies with the state and all this stuff, I was like, I can't wait to make a million videos about being vegan again. And now that I know it's connected with anarchism and natural law and all this stuff. So I don't understand why you weren't as excited as I am to spread the information. Not like everybody wants to play the victim and say we're forcing it, we're polarizing, we're it's a hot topic. No, it's us actually doing work and wondering why you haven't done it yet.
Body can tend to become quite addicted to those types of substances and not want to let go of them, just purely.
And what? And you get and you die and it takes years off your life. What are you saying is going to happen? This is all excuses, and you've done the work and you've gotten past this. So why give all the excuses? I just don't get it. I know.
Purely from like a point of view that is hold on one moment. I'm having a small tech problem. Okay, it looks like it resolved itself. Something was going on with my screen. Okay, what we are putting in our body on a daily basis and what the body continues to expect us to put in. It's
what
like a
does
withdrawal problem at some
expects
point.
Us to feed us the food that we're designed to eat. That's what our body expects. If you make the decision to go plant-based, you're just going to continue to eat meat. Like that's what I don't get that. Like you're okay. I've come to the conclusion that I need to go plant-based. So I'm just going to spend 12 years doing that and just hold that information the whole time and know that you're eating a sentient being that you shouldn't be eating. I don't get that. That's what I don't get. You get that? Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. So you decide you moralistically, you decide you need to go vegan. Therefore, you take another 10 years of eating meat and you're telling people this is what they should do. They should have the knowledge in their head that they're doing something wrong and they're doing something immoral and they're doing something unhealthy, yet they should still do it because Mark Passio says that it's really hard and you should take a long time. I don't understand that, dude. That's bullshit. That's straight up bullshit. With all due respect.
So we can look at that from
you hear that little
the body's perspective. So we look at it from the
a little weird
principle perspective, and then we look at it from the human body perspective. And some people will say not everyone can go plant-based. I disagree with that. I believe we can, as long as we transition properly. Again, the people who I've spoken to over the course of my research and lifetime researching this whole area of topic, and again, I'm having another issue. Can you just hold on one moment? I'm going to resolve.
Okay, so he just said at least everyone he's talked to. I don't know. I just asked in our chat with 40 something vegans in it, how long did it take everyone to go vegan? Everybody was overnight or within a couple days. Within a couple days. It was hard. The first week was hard, but I was over it. Everyone. So where are all these piles of vegans that Mark is seeing, talking to, that said that they took up to a decade to go vegan? Like, this just isn't adding up, dude, at all. Not adding up.
Solve this real quick.
Sounds like new age bullshit to me. That's what it really sounds like. Sorry. I'm gonna throw your words back in your face, but that sounds like new age bullshit to me. Technical difficulties.
Okay, I apologize for that. There was a technical problem with something. A key was held down on a wireless keyboard that I have in here inadvertently, and it was causing a problem on my screen, which was very distracting. So that's resolved. Thanks for dealing with that. Okay, so you know, we talked about the principle first of you know, others' lives do not belong to us to take through theft. Secondly, if we have already, through the laws of assimilation, gotten used to and possibly become physiologically addicted to certain compounds that we have into our body, we don't want to transition abruptly, because yes, that will cause harm to the individual.
What harm?
Or anybody suggesting to people to do that cold turkey and instantly. That is not how a plant-based transition should be done.
According to who?
Can definitely be dangerous and cause health problems.
How?
That
What
being
kind?
said, there is a proper way to transition to a plant-based diet.
Immediately is the
And
proper way.
again, I agree with what you said, that even supplementation can have a lot of adulterants in it and things that we don't want that aren't part.
Feeding your body the food it's designed to eat. There's no addiction that's going to hurt you, Mark Passio. Like, citation, please. This is shocking. Shockingly bad take, bro.
The natural world. That's why we should be very careful about even supplementation, not only transitioning off of a meat-based diet to a plant-based one, because a lot of products out there have things that are not beneficial to the body. To still read labels, you have to still try to get as unadulterated products as possible. You know, filtration of water becomes important. That's a carrier of nutrients, whether it be through plant-based foods or whether it be through plant-based supplements. Supplementation is something I do firmly believe in and practice, but I only try to buy 1% pure supplements, and I'll do capping myself. I won't trust other companies to cap up things, because they may use fillers, they may use adulterants, they may not have the purest of intentions or the purest of products.
If you eat correctly, whole food diet, you don't have to supplement, people. This is carnist nonsense. Everyone should supplement something if their shit's wrong, but if you're eating right, you know, continuing this, all vegans need to supplement nonsense is just feeding into their carnist bullshit. And a lot of vegans and a lot of plant-based people repeat these carnist things and do carnist behaviors, thinking that they're getting healthy because they're fasting or something like that.
That's something I definitely agree with. So I will buy pure powders and cap them myself with a capping machine. You can buy these 100 at a time capping machines for like 000 capsules, and you cap a lot that hold approximately 2 teaspoons of powder, and it's an efficient way of a very you know, inexpensive way. Capping a powder bottle of capped capsules is approximately 8 times less expensive. I mean, I've done the math, and it's literally the cost. If you capsules in bulk and cap them yourself. So that's what I do with most of my supplementation. And it works really well. I respond to it. I can feel the difference if I slip off of it for a while. I think cold pressed herbs are not a great way of getting supplementation if you get them from a reliable source, reliable company, because liquids taken under the tongue will also be extremely powerful and extremely efficiently absorbed in the body. Now, to go back to the basic philosophy of a plant-based diet, so yes, there are practices that are conducted in farming that are not beneficial to the environment. And that's where I think we have to weigh our options of, will animal husbandry contribute more to that degradation of the environment, or will growing plants do that? And I think that the overarching, when this is actually done in a comparative scientific study, it comes down to that medium-sized farms, not big factory agri-farms.
Oh boy.
Medium-sized organizations that grow organically are the best. Plant-based organically is probably the best for the environment overall when we compare the opposite extremes. We could look at just farming scale like factory farms do, and then we could look at even plant-based.
All a factory farm, bro. As long as there's a factory farm, it's all the same system. All the meat goes to the same place. There's no, this is all carnage bullshit. And again, giving them more outs. Oh, just tell the vegans you're getting your stuff from a medium farm. Everything will be fine. That's literally what he's saying.
Large scale operations, the big
They're
names.
neither to the cows and the medium ones, guys. Wow. Holy crap. Holy crap.
In the agribusiness do, and both of those can contribute very a very damaging impact to the environment. Where most scientific studies done on this to look at the total elimination, but the reduction of environmental impact, generally agree that medium-sized organic farms to go to do that. And I think
absolutely not true, at least a bit.
Growing in even urban environments, on rooftops, water, and to get government out of the regulation of that, and let.
Why don't, like, why is he not talking about? If the subsidies were gone, everyone would be vegetarian. Almost everyone. They'd be forced to be, because the whole economics behind growing animals for food is economically insane. That's why the subsidies exist. It costs so much to produce those calories that the government has to pay for 80% of it. Like, okay. So you're just telling people to go to medium farms, not let's get rid of subsidies and let the markets actually deal with the price of meat, and the market. Government subsidies going away would regulate the meat and dairy industry to where it is supposed to be in the market, which would be a delicacy for like rich scumbags only, like it has been in the past. It's always the kings dying of heart disease, fat, and young because of their glow. And we all eat, everyone eats that this way these days. So I don't get all these. I mean, I guess Mark's just not, because he hasn't been vegan, he doesn't know all this stuff. Like, he doesn't know all these arguments. He doesn't know, and like the first couple vegan, the Carnus video, like you could kind of tell he was new to plant-based, because his arguments were arguments, but it sounds like he just hasn't been around vegans that actually know what they're talking about, or hasn't had enough interest to actually look into it to learn any of these arguments. But medium farms, bro, like what?
People do that on their own, in cities, and makes use of this
farm and
space in cities that is unused to do that, I think is very much more sustainable than the ways that we're
Are you
doing
hearing
it.
this, Devin?
Yeah, I'm hearing this nonsense. Bunch of cop outs, playing
crap, dude.
softball, not staying hardcore on natural law principles to the fullest extent. I'm sitting here
Yep.
eating this breakfast sandwich that may look like a bunch of animal products, but it's not.
No harm done.
No harm done.
What Mark's saying here, Devin, is that once you come to the conclusion morally that you need to stop eating animals, you should take another 10 years and eat animals still, continue to eat. Even though you're
Lagging.
against it in every way, you should just keep eating meat and dairy because your body might not like eating the food that it was designed to eat. Like so we should probably start eating meat again because we didn't go through that transition correctly. So we should probably all start eating meat and dairy again because we didn't do it exactly like Mark. And he says you have to take a long time. So you should probably scramble up an egg and put it in that. This is a shockingly bad take. He just piled up a bunch of outs for them to not even be interested
there's
in
a
going
lot of
plant-based.
outs. I think there's a lot of societal pressure to not offend anybody on this topic, because I would
Money
say
goes
like
down every time he talks about it, I bet.
yeah, and then the bulk of his work, a lot of people latch on to the government stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's easier and it's more nebulous. It's like you don't have to necessarily put like everyday personal work into it. You can just be like, yeah. You can just plant your flag and be like, yeah, I'm against the government. I'm an anarchist. I'm following natural law because I say I'm against it. Whereas this actually takes effort every day to put into practice to behave yourself. You gotta fucking behave yourself. Stop acting like a beast of the field. Conduct yourself at a higher level, a higher caliber, and maybe, just maybe, that will bleed into the rest of how you conduct yourself with your fellow man. I mean, if we can't behave ourselves around literally spiritual children, animals are just the children's of this earth. If we can't conduct ourselves appropriately with them, and we can't, like I always say, we can't eat our vegetables in order to achieve freedom. Like just basic building blocks of this shit. How can I trust these people to
this whole thing is about?
Overthrow the government?
Yeah. It's wild, man. But yeah, it's pretty disappointing to see all these excuses that he just gives them to not actually do it. Like, and then it's just like shocking to watch him, on his show screaming at the fucking at everyone, and it's like, but dude, you're talking shit about the trash ape excuses, yet you're here, you just making like 6 excuses. You just gave them 6 aha gotcha moments. And these dudes aren't even gonna think about going plant-based. Like that takes work. They don't want to work. Obviously, they fight us on this stuff. They fight us. Instead of saying, "Yeah, this is probably the right direction," they fight us, Mark, and they use your words against us. It's wild. And then I guess they're not right. It's wild.
now by growing entirely outside of cities and then, trucking in and using oil to do that. So there's many different ways to reduce those environmental impacts as well. So I feel when you put all of that together, there are simply incorrect or unsustainable ways of doing it. Then there are sustainable and proper ways of doing it. And I think that is what we need to do, is develop the discernment to put all of that together and see what methods, not only the reduction of eating animals and using their byproducts to transition slowly to a plant-based diet so that we don't damage our health in the process by a sudden and abrupt transition, but to also look at the methods that are really now studied and scientifically proven to be effective environmentally, not to have those really very damaging impacts on the environment. And I think if we take all of that into consideration, I feel that the plant-based medium-sized organic type farming would, and combining that with urban methods of food and water procure.
No, bro. The whole system needs to be changed. Veganic farming that actually takes into consideration crop deaths needs to be implemented. We don't need to just continue doing things the way they do it in their medium-sized farms that are kind of not the greatest way of doing things. There's tons of, it's not as simple as just saying farms.
Would be the optimal way to do it when other available alternative. Again, that being entirely said, I don't tell anybody to immediately go plant-based. There's options.
Yeah, you got it,
reduce
dude.
their impact when it comes to using animals and products.
Yes, you should make the moral decision to go plant-based, but then continue eating meat.
Not one of these militant vegans that says you
should be more militant than anyone out there. Because considering your message that you said, I get it. You have to have an excuse, or else you'll lose money. Then just don't talk about it, and just be plant-based, and don't get in these conversations with these guys where you just give them a bunch of excuses.
Must do this immediately overnight. Look at all of the data
Take
sets.
a week, bro.
Look at all of
I'm
the
not saying have to do it overnight. We're just saying it's possible to do it overnight, and it shouldn't take you more than overnight. But take all the time you need, not 12 years. Come on, bro. Like, does that look like you tried really hard? Like, you're saying you tried because you were slowly cutting things out. Like, I don't know.
Have at our disposal. We have the ability to do this. Each individual has that ability and has the ability to do it in the right way that actually does do the least amount of harm to both
Would
ourselves
be stopping eating animals as soon as possible.
and in a responsible way.
Yes,
Exactly.
the responsible way would be to do it as possible, Mark. Not take 12 years, like you're saying.
And that's my approach. That's why I don't make enemies.
Well, you're making enemies.
The same thing about ending government.
Who may be looking at these things, try to give them some reasonable options to explore, and then to make a decision from a moral perspective to do that because they want to reduce that harm.
Bust out the whip.
Responsibly research the best ways of going about doing that. What I term in life, this in my technology course, How to Become True Media seminar, it's called best practices, right? So it's like we can do things that are better than the ways that we're already doing them. And we can't get too attached to pre-existing methods and pre-existing ways that we going about. There are better ways of doing it. Some of them create some discomfort initially because they're new ways that we have to look at and perceive things and then align our behavior to that. So not every method is as good as every other one. In best practice in technology, I make people fully aware there's really bad ways of doing something, but they achieve the result you're looking for, right? But you'll get there in a hard way. You'll get there in a way that's not optimal, that's not efficient, that's not optimized, right? Then there's ways that are just mediocre, and they do it sort of, and they're okay, but they still take a lot of time.
Talking about right now,
optimally efficient, And there's best practices. These are excellent methods. They get it done the right way
Or
so you
taking 12 years to transition from vegetarian to vegan is not best practices, dude. That's half-assing. That's not even, that's worse than half-assing has it. Like, I just, it's funny to see someone talk like this.
utilize your energy in optimal capacity. And that's what I think the approach.
The best thing someone could do in their life and today is to stop eating animals and like, if you want to do less harm, that's like the biggest thing you can do. So like that might be like the best utilization of energy versus less harm. Choose when you go to lunch, eat something that doesn't have animals in it. You would have had to eat something anyway, so you're not expelling any extra energy by going vegan. So like that seems really a massive payback for the little amount of energy that you're using. If you're talking about efficiency here, Mark, choosing plant-based at every meal, you're just having to but then you're saying stuff that's just completely contradictory to what you're saying.
Approach that should be taken with that is best practices. Attempt to identify the methods that do the least amount of harm, and also apply first principles in addition to that. So I think if we take that general approach,
applying first principles would be to go plant-based as soon as you possibly can, not to make up this arbitrary timeline that you're guessing your body is taking to transition off of products. It's a bunch of
have to have this militant or super conflicting, mindset with each other, even in the whole community, that we could understand we're all really looking for the same thing. We're looking for good health. We're looking for a good environment, and we're looking for optimal energy for ourselves and for the way everything else works in our environment. And I think if people do that and they study it first from the principled point of view, then don't abandon it because you say, well, the way that some people are doing this aren't the agreed, absolutely conceded and agreed. All right, that is conceded, right? But there are those best practices. We just discover them and then advocate for them to be done that way. And combine both of those, first principles and best practices. That's when we're going to real truth come to light and what we really should be doing as a species. Right? And then it's our responsibility to align with that and make that part of our behavior.
I'd say it's probably important we're free first.
Look at how happy he is. He just got all the
So who is this Corey guy? What has he got going on? Why is he shot calling?
Only advocate for animal rights first. So many vegans advocate for animal freedom and then turn right around and say,
gum at the same time. We can't encourage everyone to save all the sentient beings. We just have to encourage people to save half of them. This is the biggest bullshit fallacy argument, and you're feeding it to these guys to use it as their excuse not to do work. You can't not see that's what you're doing. Kevin, back me up here. How often do we hear this stuff? People throw these things in faces.
Yeah, I mean, these are just sorry ass excuses.
You have to work in government first.
Yeah.
Why not at the same time? We're able to do it. How are we able to do it and you're not? How are we able to do it and you're not, Mark? Corey? Logan? Will? How is it so better content than you as vegans? My channel is watched way more than all your guys' combined. How is that possible? If I'm vegan, I'm able to put out content that people watch. Vegan and anti-government, whatever, anti-war, Palestine, Israel conflict. I put out everything. How am I able to do that? If you're saying we're only able to go after one thing at a time. Bullshit, fucking bullshit fallacy. can't. This is bullshit. Sorry, dude. With all due respect,
Yeah.
you're fucking full of shit when it comes to this subject. And I'm glad he's not calling himself vegan, because he's not. He's not a animal rights activist. He's a moral, whatever, spiritual guy, but he's not an animal rights activist, and he's not even trying to help them out. It's specious.
Stand first principles. First of all, if our freedom isn't there, what opportunities do we have for or
Oh, so wait until we get rid of human slavery to go vegan, which will never happen.
I don't know. There's still government around, but we were able to get what is it? Mark Jacobs to drop free, drop her. I don't know how that was possible. We did that all while having government
We're
still
gonna
around.
get rid of bullying, Braxton. We're gonna go vegan after we get rid of bullying in schools. But just continue to be immoral until we get rid of bullying, which will never happen. Humans enslave. Humans humans are bullies. These are human actions that happen. It's utopian to think that we're going to stop government from enslaving people. We have to do the most we can right now, which is stopping enslaving animals and eating them for no reason. That's something we can do right now that's way bigger than anything else that's attainable to one person. It's all about what you're doing to the world, what you're putting out in the world. You can't go stop government. You can't go stop slavery. You can promote that, but you can stop enslaving and killing animals and eating them for no reason. You can do that now. So this is all bullshit. Fuck all this shit. It's bullshit excuses. Sorry, Mark. Don't like your take. I'm gonna lose my goddamn
possibilities do we have? That's what freedom ultimately is our possibility to enact the things that we want to see happen for the betterment of ourselves and our community.
I thought true
That's
freedom,
what
the natural state of the planet, where everyone is not enslaving each other and not killing each other for food when they don't have to, bro. Like every like this is like Will Keller shit here, Mark. Come on, dude. You're better than this. These are bad arguments. I'm stopping every like 4 words you're saying because there's so much fallacy. Like, come on, dude.
freedom is. If we
Look at
don't
how
have
happy
that,
this guy is. He's so stoked. He planned and you fell into it. And you went to the extra mile. Like you gave him like 6
and
or
we're limited
7 outs to use against to relinquish the idea that he needs to impress you by going vegan. Or actually like trying to do something. Bull.
endlessly, regulated endlessly, we have no possibility to help the animal kingdom or our environment. You know, that is going to be made impossible by absolutely our freedom has to be of our paramount importance, and then I think other things will fall into place once those possibilities get opened up for us. Other things are going to fall in place much.
Tolstoy, bro, like come on, like if we work like this is how I explain. Stopping eating animals is a lot than stopping killing humans, right? The killing human problem is like a much more complicated problem because you have humans that are smart with brains that are higher intelligence. Stopping eating animals and stopping manipulating animals is something we could do right now, no problem. We already have the science, technology, all of it to do it. So I don't get how you are as educated as, and this is your take after it all. There are slaughterhouses. There will always be battlefields. In order to get to the part where we stop enslaving humans, we have to exercise this this power we have and stop killing animals first. Then the next step is, oh wow, you know, like I guess if we were good enough in humanity to stop killing animals, maybe obviously we should stop killing humans. And I'm not saying this is the thing. We are all activists. We are all against the government and slavery. All us vegans, all my vegan homies on my show, we are all against all this stuff, always have been. We have spoken out about government and slavery more than we've spoken out about veganism. So this idea that, oh, the vegans are just pushing veganism, another big fallacy you guys, all of you guys, fall for all the time and feed to us bullshit fallacies. Just because we're vegan doesn't mean we aren't doing other activism at the same time, Fulios.
Much easier, and they're going to come to our understanding much easier because of the free flow of information that would result in a free society. Then many more people will understand and adapt to those occult principles.
You know, I think it's the nature of the internet that people look for controversy. They look for debates. What could I nitpick on and go deeper into when it comes to some of these other topics?
If you don't know you're doing wrong and no one you're just going to continue. Mark just talked about spreading the message of the best whatever, best practices.
Human beings are being enslaved right now.
Let's free ourselves up.
Yeah, let's free our
first.
I can't watch this anymore. I can't. Let's free ourselves first.
Absolutely.
Look at these.
Without a doubt. Let's get our freedom.
Oh my fucking God. Complete nonsense. Wow. So disappointing. I can't even believe that. Are you still there, Dev? The big lip guy. Devin's gone. All right. Well, that's it. I can't listen to more bullshit. My bullshit levels are full. And it's almost 10 o'clock. We're 3 hours, 45 minutes in. I will catch you guys next week. Hey, man. Got any final thoughts? Did you just see that, or were you gone?
I was on the phone, but yeah, I could hear it. We can do better. We can do much better than this. We got to keep a principles first mentality in our hearts and minds, and we got to practice it